Clemson's Death Valley is alive. This is the game of the year in the ACC and a game of huge playoff importance. Clemson ranked first in the first selection committee rankings of the season, trying to dethrone the Seminoles and win the ACC Atlantic. Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit, and the Seminoles take the field, Kirk, for the first time in their careers and probably the last as double-digit underdogs, and they do feel disrespected by all of this.
There's no doubt about it. You just feel being on the field before the game. This Florida State team, I'll be shocked if they don't play their best game today as far as the energy is concerned. And here's Clemson, #1 ranked team, as you said, in our first rankings, with this, a newfound pressure for them, but with the leadership that they have, led by Deshaun Watson and their head coach, Dabo Swinney, I don't think it's too much for them, and we'll find out here after this 60 minutes of football.
For the Noles, Sean McGuire replaced the suspended Jameis Winston, beat the Tigers a year ago. He replaced the concussed Everett Golson last week. But Golson's back and healthy, which left Jimbo Fisher with an interesting decision to quarterback that he hasn't yet officially announced.
Yeah, and he made it very clear to us this has nothing to do with health. He's decided to go with Sean McGuire as his starter today, and Sean McGuire comes in off of a big game last week in his first start of the year. He sat around and didn't complain. That's the thing that's impressive. He makes great decisions. That's the big reason he's starting, and the big playability, which could be on display today as they try to get the ball pushed downfield against this very talented Clemson defense. And then you have the intangibles, a guy that can get on the road and try to keep everybody calm and poised, because in this adversity in Death Valley, you need a quarterback. Remember, he hasn't started a lot of games, but he has 4 years of being in the system, which could be big for them in this game.
Good news for him. Looks like Dalvin Cook's going to be okay at least to start. He's had an ankle miss last week. He's had hamstring problems for weeks. Seems okay. #4 for Clemson, though, is the key for the Tigers. It's been amazing. Has caught his breath after that sprint with Heather Cox.
Chris, thanks so much. Coach, in a week dominated by talk of rankings, of talk of being #1, how have you been able to keep your team's focus where you want it to be?
Just do what we do. We don't change anything. You know, we all know that none of that stuff means anything. It's all about how you play each and every week. So our focus has been on trying to get ready for a great Florida State team.
What do you see as the biggest challenge for your quarterback, Deshaun Watson, today?
Well, he's just, I mean, they're going against a great defense. Got to make good decisions. You know, at the end of the day, we just got to do what we do and do it together. That's all it's all about.
Dabo, thank you. Enjoy it.
This is impressive speed.
I mean, watch this. I mean, you talk about being fired up to play.
You got to be careful down the hill. It's slippery on a wet day, but now he turns on the Jets.
Now you crank it from there. We got to get him and Matt Rule some kind of contest after the season.
Jimbo Fisher, meanwhile, didn't talk a lot about the disrespect underdog role, but his players were talking about it with me this week. 10.5-point underdogs against the team they beat in the last 3 years. And until you beat the champs in this division, you can't call yourselves the top dog.
Well, emotionally, no matter what's being said by the coaches, the reality is you come out in front of 80,000 people and you can feel it. The Florida State players were kind of looking up at the crowd, kind of like, okay, bring it on, bring it on. The roles are reversed, the psychological aspect of the game. We'll see how both of them handle it throughout this game.
Tigers won the toss and deferred. So Florida State and Sean McGuire will get the football first. Hammond Lakeup to boot it away for the Tigers. Kermit Whitfield and Jalen Ramsey, who wears Charlie Ward's old number 17, to return kicks back deep for Florida State. Tigers have been vulnerable, allowing 2 100-yard kickoff returns for touchdowns this season. Lakeup's boot backs Whitfield up, and it'll be a touchback. So Sean McGuire comes out. He's from New Jersey. He's a junior. This is his 3rd career start. He's got a strong arm, Kirk. He can operate this pro-style offense the way Fisher wants him to.
Yeah, he's coming off a game last week where he played outstanding, 21 of 39 for 304 yards. And, you know, just in command, felt really good about it. I got to tell you, Chris, I'm so impressed with how he handled the situation. Been here throughout all the Jameis Winston stuff, kept his mouth shut, thought he'd have a shot at being the guy, loses it to a transfer in Everett Golson, doesn't say boo, just keeps grinding and working, finds himself now in the starting lineup when it matters most.
Will they get protection from an offensive line that's very young, banged up, and has been shaky on the road? Dalvin Cook news for the Noles starting at tailback. Coming around, this is Whitfield on the pitch, and the Tigers close him down, no gain.
A lot of energy in this stadium right now, as you can see. Jimbo trying to get wide to outflank the Clemson defense, but Shaq Lawson, who's having a monster year, number 90, and Mackenzie Alexander right there to force him back into the teeth of the defense.
Flag pre-snap as Cook takes off, breaks a tackle, and is off and running. Dalvin Cook headed for the end zone, but a flag came down before the ball was snapped. He is going to score. Now we'll check the marker.
Chris, the only thing I can think of is maybe Clemson lined up offsides.
Wow. 75 yards for Cook if it stands.
I mean, we'll have to see if it's not a formation.
Another flag down here after the play. What a start for Florida State if this stands.
That's what we were saying in the open. So much talk about the quarterbacks, but how about seeing a healthy number 4 back in the lineup? I think Clemson lined up offsides.
Offside. Defense. Number 90. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
TJ Green missed the tackle.
Personal foul. Defense. That penalty will be enforced on the ensuing kickoff. Have a try.
Wow. Florida State, as they did a couple of years ago when Winston was the quarterback, silencing this crowd with an early score.
Great point. 2 years ago when they came in here, the first play from Jameis Winston to Kelvin Benjamin up in the air. And now they come in, and Dalvin Cook deserves a lot of the credit. But, Chris, I got to tell you, that offensive line with 4 new starters, what a job of opening up that hole.
Longest play from scrimmage against this excellent Tigers defense all season. Roberto Aguayo makes it 181 for 181 in his career, points after touchdown.
Watch this offensive line. Left guard's going to get a nice little block here, but really it's the center's block, Hofeld, that gets up to the linebacker. That's what opens this thing up. And once he opens up right there, look at that stiff arm right in the hole. TJ Green, you mentioned, he came up in run support, but that's the Dalvin Cook, the strength of Dalvin Cook at 202 pounds. Nice, good look at it slow. There's the linebacker trying to make the play on it. Goodson. Nice block by the fullback as well. Freddie Stevenson. So they gave him 8 or 10 yards on his own, but that stiff arm is lethal as the safety Green tries to come up and make that tackle.
Little wonder why he is number 1 among Power 5 running backs in yards after contact. Get about 70 yards after contact there.
Well, that's what makes Jimbo Fisher's offense so dangerous. Again, the quarterbacks are always going to get the attention. That's a great look at a guy who had to sit out last week because of an ankle, left ankle, and a left hammy that's been reoccurring for him. But right out of the gate, Jimbo Fisher showing people that it's not always about the quarterback. For him, it starts with that offensive line and the running of Dalvin Cook, and they get off to a huge start here in Death Valley.
And because of the penalty after the touchdown, Aguayo to boot it away from midfield. Wouldn't bet on a kickoff return here. Well, he's going to pooch it short, give the coverage team a chance to run down there, but it's a touchback. All right, so 45 seconds into the game, it's the mirror opposite of what happened when Deshaun Watson got up to the great start against Notre Dame here in the other big home game.
Yeah, and a guy that we said, and I really feel this, I know Trevon Boykin at TCU is playing great football, but Deshaun Watson is just a guy that's in command. He's very intelligent, prepares like he's one of the assistant coaches, so very familiar with each defense that he faces. His feet today against this Florida State defense, he's going to carry it probably 15 times. He's going to have to be a factor in the run game to open up the passing game that they want to try to put on the Noles.
First play they handed to Wayne Gallman, the physical running back who's approaching 1,000 yards. Had a terrific season as he's emerged as the workhorse, gets about 10.
Yeah, and he is really the key to giving this defense from Florida State a reminder that as much as Deshaun Watson makes plays, the physicality between the tackles with number 9 is really what makes defenses have to respect that aspect, and it opens up everything else.
Gallman to the far left of the formation. The ball batted in the air and incomplete. So coming in, that was the rangy defensive end, DeMarcus Walker.
That's his third on the year. We did their Florida State-Miami game, and I remember you and I talking during the game and even after the game and even this week. That's become the new thing with defensive linemen, athletic defensive linemen, with tempo offenses and balls that are getting out fast. You can't get a sack. So the next best thing is to get up in the air and bat them down.
Gallman on second and long, a short gain, and the Noles have a whole bunch of talented defensive linemen who were tall with very long arms. They'll rotate him in.
They sure do. You know, I think a guy that gets most of the attention is 99, Niall Lawrence Stample, but you know, they get you on first and second down. You'll see Noddy, 91, who made a big play there. Newberry, Walker, they're all very, very active.
So this play call collaborative for Clemson. Has a choice to make on 3rd and 9.
And here's the pressure the Noles are going to try to get on the perimeter. Nate Andrews on one side and Josh Sweat on the other.
Watson downfield for Sharon Peak and threw it over his head. So the Tigers get 1 first down, but now we'll have to punt.
You see, they'll give you looks on 3rd down, and you have to figure out, is Andrews coming or is he going to drop? He ends up dropping here. Is he going to come? Is he going to come? Who's going to come and who's going to drop at the snap of the ball? You can see they're trying to disguise some things, affect the offensive lineman in the protection, especially on 3rd down, and try to affect the rhythm of Deshaun Watson.
Andy Teasdale to punt. Bobo Wilson is the returner for the Noles. It's a high kick, and Wilson backpedals and calls for a fair catch at the 22-yard line. Early fireworks from Florida State. McGuire and the Noles back to work off a quick touchdown. As well, there was no loss of focus, but they are behind 7 points. The more immediate goal is you got to try to win your division in the ACC. And the Florida State Clemson winner has won it 6 straight years, as the bright side, brought to you by CarMax, illustrates. In the last 3 years, that has been Florida State. One play, and Dalvin Cook romped 75 for a touchdown. So here's McGuire's first pass attempt, and it's a misfire looking for Bubba Wilson.
Tom Brent Venables, the defensive coordinator from Clemson, I especially after that opening drive, I already knew coming in, but there he is right there. Now I really know. Okay, Sean McGuire's starting. Everett Golson, and the mobility is not there. We've got to put the game on his shoulders. We've got to put numbers at the line of scrimmage and take away number 4 and make Sean McGuire beat us by throwing the ball.
Cook stutter steps in the holes, off and running again. Dalvin Cook to the 40, to midfield. Cook, a second huge play. He looks healthy and he looks inspired today.
Watch the left tackle, Johnson and Mavetti. Watch the double team right here, which opens it. And then you've got a couple guys pulling around, a counter play, but it starts with that double team right there. They kind of pinch it down. That creates the opening. And number 4, Dalvin Cook, doesn't need a lot of room to be able to squirm through there and then hit that acceleration button. And before you know it, he's to the 3rd level and running by people.
2 carries, 111 yards for Cook.
Dabo's trying to figure out what in the heck. Come on, Brent. We got to figure out a way to stop him.
They can stop him momentarily because Jaquez Patrick, the talented freshman, spelling Cook, and McGuire in the pocket delivers a strike downfield, and the catch is made. And that's Travis Rudolph coming off a monster game last week with 3 touchdowns.
And right now, the Clemson safeties are lost. Javon Curse, a junior from Fort Myers, Florida, really wants to play in this game. Watch him come into the game right here. He runs into one of his own defenders, blanks, and a play-action call after successful runs. You're getting the safeties and linebackers now. They're determined to stop Cook. What a time by Jimbo Fisher to get the ball thrown over top of them with a play-action pass.
It's a 1st and 10 handoff to Jaquez Patrick, the 235-pound true freshman out of Orlando, who rolled for 162 and 3 touchdowns when Cook sat out last week against the Orange.
What a great compliment, and it was important for him to get those reps, and you wonder how, if Cook had to have gone last week, if Clemson was last week, could he have gone? And by allowing him play against Syracuse, a team they probably felt pretty comfortable they could handle, it gets him reps, and it gets him ready to come in and compliment Dalvin Cook and give him a few carries and take some of the workload off of Dalvin Cook.
Jonathan Vickers, number 26, joining Cook in the backfield on 2nd and 7. McGuire flips it, a lateral to Cook, and it's well strung out and a loss as Clemson creates a negative play. B.J. Goodson, the middle linebacker, was there first.
Well, they'll try to find any way they can get the ball out to Cook, running or throwing, but I don't know how many times I heard Clemson's coaches this week talking about leverage the football, especially when Dalvin Cook has that. Leverage the football means you want to see 4 or 5 orange jerseys surrounding him and not allowing him to be able to get through. That was the first time we've seen that so far in this game.
Tigers have the best third down defense in the country. Opponents convert just 21%. The Noles need 10. Their first third down in the early stages here. Play clock winding down at 1 when McGuire gets the snap. Backpedals, fires downfield, jump ball, interception. Adrian Baker with the pick at the 5-yard line as McGuire makes a mistake under pressure.
I'll tell you what, Chris, he kind of threw that up in hope, but I'm going to tell you, Baker deserves a lot of credit, this sophomore. I think he confused McGuire. He actually looked like he was going to go to the inside on one of the inside receivers, and McGuire, that's who he saw at the last second. He thought he saw his receiver open, but Baker came off of Travis Rudolph and then went back out to the outside to take away the potential threat of Kermit Whitfield. So a really good job of baiting McGuire there on third down by the sophomore from Florida.
Only the Noles' third turnover this season. The offense only has 2 of them. So Clemson's defense reeling, but does get the takeaway, and the offense takes over, backed up at their 5-yard line, and first down gain of 3. As Randy Sanders visiting with McGuire, who is still a little bit prone to mistakes like that. He's still inexperienced.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the one thing he brings in is experience within the system. But obviously, I mean, his only other start other than last week was against Clemson at home. So he's still a young guy as far as the speed of the game is concerned.
They fake it to Gallman, and near side completion, a peak, who wrestles across the 20-yard line, still fighting, and has a Clemson first down. Completion for Watson, Kirk.
Chris, we talk all the time about ball fake. Here's a ball fake, and watch this linebacker right here. When he sees a ball fake, he steps up, which creates a nice throwing lane right there, makes it a much easier throw.
Completion far side. Artavis Scott, leading receiver in this team. Only a short gain. Tackle by Marquez White.
I think a big part of Clemson and how they have to attack Florida State is tempo. Tempo. The reason they want to go tempo, number one, they have a quarterback that can handle tempo. And number two, you want to get Florida State's aggressive defense on its heels as opposed to being aggressive themselves.
Empty backfield. Noles bring pressure on 2nd and 8. An overthrow. An opportunity. As Leggett, the tight end, was running free, and Watson would love to have that throw back.
They're going to have to go back to that because the Florida State safeties are split, meaning the middle of the field for vertical throws is wide open. And Leggett has the ability as an athlete to be able to get down the field at 6'5", 255 pounds. He can get down there in a hurry. He was open. Deshaun Watson just missed him.
Third down again. Watson flushed. It'll be hard to fight for yardage against this Noles defense. He's hit out of bounds. A flag. Jalen Ramsey pressured the quarterback and gave Clemson a gift. It was going to be 4th down instead. Yeah. It'll be first down.
Got to keep your motions in check.
Dead ball. Personal foul. Late one out of bounds.
Jalen Ramsey plays on an edge with emotion. Early in this game, he's been wanting to hit Deshaun Watson for 5 days. He finally gets a chance, and he thinks he's in bounds. And if you go super slow, you could say, oh, boy, he was still in bounds. But the push and extension through the sidelines is a right call that time. Officials right on the top of it. He was running out of bounds. He had given up on the play. Jalen Ramsey's got to know better than that.
I agree, though. He made contact at the sideline. It was the aggressiveness of the shove.
Yeah.
So on first down, Gallman hammers straight ahead. This power running game from Clemson has been a pleasant surprise to everybody here. They knew they could throw the ball, run it on the edge, but Gallman has been a huge part this year.
Yeah, and I think it's just a difference in them as a team. You know, they always had Sammy Watkins and guys that were explosive, but now I think they're much more confident in with the offensive line and Gallman in the middle, and also Watson running too.
Gallman. Short game there. It'll set up third and short. He's a running back that's had to learn to be content with, just taking the base hits. Not going for the home run all the time, but very workmanlike, very sturdy, got good enough speed.
Yeah, and the fact that he's in his second year in this system, I think that really helps him get a good feel and makes the vision and the cuts that much easier for him. We'll see if he gets the ball here on third down. Remember, Watson's a factor in the run game, has not yet pulled it on the zone read.
Off the zone read, a short completion, and a first down at midfield. That was Leggett, the tight end. Leggett, a guy that has caught 6 touchdowns this year, most on the team, and that's a very high number for tight ends around the country so far this year. Shares the lead in FBS with 3 other guys. On first down, Watson pressured, cannot escape. Dropped by Derek Noddy. And Niall Lawrence Stample, the 2 tackles combining on the sack there.
Well, it really starts as well, Chris, with Jacob Pugh, who's going to come right here. He's long. He forces him up into the pocket, and he's going to deal with pressure coming off the edge a lot in this football game because Florida State's had some real strength of theirs, but Noddy's able to get in there and contribute as well, and a very, very athletic front. Will be the biggest and most athletic front Clemson's seen all year. They've
been a very good protecting offensive line. Just the 13th sack allowed. And now, on long distance, it's Gallman breaking free. Oh, just tripped up. That was a terrific tackle by LaMarcus Brutus, or Gallman would have gotten a whole bunch more.
He got out into the open and looked like he had a chance to be able to make a big play. But again, this Florida State defense swarming to the ball. Clemson's going tempo here. It's big third down, trying to sustain this drive.
Zach Brooks, number 24, is in the ball game in the backfield.
You see that clap and that hurry up. All he's trying to do is get the defense to have an indicator, tip their hands, so to speak, in their coverage. And now he's got a better feel of what to expect.
Pressure again. Watson cannot escape. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. Jalen Ramsey came flying in from the corner. And 2 sacks in that series. Stalls the Clemson drive.
And Charles Kelly mixing it up. Right here's Jalen Ramsey. Brooks will pick him up, and it frees up Pugh untouched. I knew the offensive line would be challenged. The right tackle that time, Joe Gore, he didn't block anybody. He came down, and he had 2 Florida State defenders to his right. One goes free, and the other is picked up by the running back.
It's a fake. A flag is down as the Tigers have the ball running around the edge. T.J. Green knocked out far side. They do convert on the fake. Shades of the old Punt-Ruski that the nose sprang here, but we'll check the marker.
Illegal formations on the offense. 5 players lined up in the backfield.
Dabo, furious, pointing at one player, said that one's on you. So the fake, they worked a lot on and felt confident in. And there's 5 guys back there.
Yeah, they had an illegal formation and something that it wasn't even really close. It wasn't as if there was one of them that was a yard or 2 off the line of scrimmage. They were all, I want to say, almost 4 or 5 yards, all back deep into the backfield. Just a miscommunication on the Clemson side.
So Wilson back to receive the punt from Teasdall. And Bobo will give it a shot. No fair catch, and he takes a shot immediately. Flying down in coverage, Jadar Johnson. 7-0, still up 7.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, presented by Kay Jewelers, who would like to remind you that right now it's engagement season. Walmart. Get ideas for your game time party at walmart.com/gametime-recipes. And the 2016 Ford Explorer. Be unstoppable.
Week of tremendous excitement here at Clemson, and a half hour ago Death Valley was pure pandemonium. There's a hush in here now. The Dr. Pepper Championship Drive game of the week, thanks to Dalvin Cook, who ran 75 yards on the opening play for the Seminoles. In case you joined us a bit late, after the Baker interception, Tigers gained 43 in flip field position, so McGuire's third possession begins from the 13-yard line. Why not try Cook again? Tigers this time get quick penetration, and he's knocked down after no game. Christian Wilkins, the true freshman.
Yeah, the true freshman at 6'4", 315 pounds, has such quickness. He has an ability to shoot the gaps, and that's what he did there. The coaches, I remember when we had them earlier this year against Notre Dame, and at the time they did not have DJ Reader, who is now back. And they talked about Wilkins being such a big factor on that defensive line. Remember, they lost their entire front seven to the NFL, so they have a lot of new faces up there, and Wilkins has emerged as a go-to guy, even though he's young.
Cook again on 2nd and 10, tests the middle and slips down after a short gain. Goodson involved in the tackle. Dalvin, of course, came in with that question: how would the ankle look? How will the hamstring hold up throughout this game? Explosion on his first carry.
Shaq Lawson, big-time player for Clemson, is down, which is never a good sign.
He's the sack leader, 6.5 this season, 14.5 tackles for loss on the left side, number 90 here.
Yeah, number 90 just kind of lowers his head there to take on a block. He's up right away. I don't know what that might have been, but he was in pretty severe pain there.
They brag on the ability, Kirk, of this field to take heavy rain. It's been raining here for a few days. It looks okay, but you can tell the traction is a little bit of an issue down in the pit.
It is, because when I was out there, and it hasn't rained for the last hour or so, but the field it's holding the rain as far as moisture, but it's slick. It's very, very slick on these players. When you make a cut, that's something that I think could become a problem for especially a defensive back.
Austin Bryant, number 91, replacing Lawson on this 3rd and 8. And the noise is back. Clemson shows heavy pressure and brings it. McGuire gets the ball away, loops it downfield. There was some pushing and shoving. Bobo Wilson wanted a flag, and there isn't one. 4th down.
You know, Mackenzie Alexander, number 2, gets most of the recognition, but Baker had an interception earlier. Tankersley here in coverage, and Brent Venables mixing up the looks, disguising, brings the pressure late. Green almost gets home, forces the throw out early before McGuire probably wanted to get rid of it, so they get home and get the pressure, but great coverage and good ball awareness by Condre Tankersley.
Beatty at his goal line as the Tigers force their first 3 and out. Very good defense at doing that this season. Hunter Renfro, the scrappy little former walk-on slot receiver, dependable punt returner, makes a fair catch. Tigers have good field position, but the Seminoles still up by a touchdown.
As a Ford Studio update, let's take a look at who's getting it done. Presented by Wells Fargo. Mason Rudolph, 50-yard touchdown pass to James Washington. 2nd time they've linked up today. Cowboys up 14-6 over number 8 TCU. Chris, Herbie, back to you.
More scoring to come there, no doubt. 7-0 here. We'll get a report momentarily from Heather on Shaq Lawson's condition as they get the screwdriver out on that situation there.
Yeah, they've got a couple guys down.
There's a drop far side, trying to get it to Leggett. Heather, what's the latest down there?
Well, it is a right shoulder injury for Shaq Lawson. What they're doing is trying to tighten up that brace. It was a brace he was wearing before, but right now he's got a team of thousands working on it to tighten it up. Shaq looking very patient as they get the screwdrivers out and try to tighten it. Meanwhile, Clemson's O-line without Tyrone Crowder. He has a left foot injury. Backup Maverick Morris is in.
And Gallman nowhere to run. It'll be 3rd and long as Terrence Smith, who returns to the lineup. The Noles glad to have number 24 back, the veteran. Wow. So 3rd and 11 now.
And Northrup and Hoskins have done a really good job. Reggie Northrup would have started alongside Smith, but Smith went out October 3rd and has recovered nicely. You could see the quickness that he brings to that 2nd level, this Florida State defense.
Noles rush 4 on 3rd down. Watson fires near side. trying to make a catch as Artavis Scott and Marquez White was in coverage, and there were a couple of flags. It'll be a good battle over there.
Yep.
The focus goes on Ramsey.
Defense, number 27, 15-yard penalty.
Many feel that White and Ramsey are the best tandem of corners in the country.
Yeah, you have Ramsey into the boundary, and here you've got it. He just grabs onto him right at the end there. Back shoulder throw, tough to adjust, actually gets a hold of the jersey. That's a great look at it right there. And that's why you saw Artavis Scott come up so emotional looking for the call from the official. He didn't see it the call was coming in from behind. But White is a big, long, athletic guy. But Ramsey into the boundary is somebody they want to try to avoid for the most part.
So 2 major penalties on the Knowles corners, big so far. And a first down throw. They go back to Leggett down the middle. That's the pass that Watson overthrew earlier. No misfire that time, and comes in the red zone.
Watch the safeties. You'll see them separate. See them separate. Opens up the middle of the field. We talked about it earlier. They had it. They missed it. They go back to it, and they'll continue to go back to it if the middle of the field will be open. The Miami game, you saw a lot of the same approach, trying to attack the middle of the Knowles defense.
25-yard gain there, and now Gallman trying to get the left edge. Leggett is a guy comes from Navarre, Florida. That's in the Panhandle. That's Florida State's backyard. They only offered him a scholarship the day after Clemson did. So he said, I'm going to go with the Tigers. They were loyal to me, but he is inspired today. Leggett.
Oh yeah, it's fun to watch. You go down the roster of the Clemson team, especially the skill guys. There are a lot of Florida guys on there. They're going unbalanced left. Now they're going a little bit of a new wrinkle. Now they're going unbalanced right here. 2 receivers into the boundary.
And Watson, as they move the pocket quite often, on the run, just nowhere to go. Good job by the Knowles defense not buying into all that pre-snap stuff.
There was a lot of stuff going on there, and they're just trying to affect the eyes. Anything you can do to slow down an athletic, aggressive defense. One of the ways to do that is a lot of window dressing, meaning formations, personnel groupings, different looks, pre-snap movement that make them have to look to each other to communicate. That can slow a team down, but that time give Florida State credit. They're a great position to make a play.
5 receiver look. Gallman to the top of the formation on 3rd and 6. Late pressure, ball batted down again at the line of scrimmage. Again, it's DeMarcus Walker.
It's his 4th of the year. He's 2nd today. Again, you can't get home. You can't get the blitz. You can't get Watson's getting the ball out of his hands fast. So you're athletic. You go up, you time it up, and you knock it down. That's, to me, just as effective as a sack or a quarterback hurry when a big defensive lineman has the athletic ability to time it up and knock that football right back into the face of the quarterback.
Greg Hugel's a walk-on, has been very reliable. 10 for 10 field goals in ACC games. And 9 for 10 inside 40. This from 31 yards to get the Tigers on the board. And he knocks it through. So Clemson, a 44-yard drive, cuts the Florida State lead to 7-3.
What's next?
Just because you're on the go doesn't mean you have to miss any of ESPN's college football action. You can stream every game live with the Watch ESPN app. Just download it or go to watchespn.com. So the Seminoles struck quickly. A Dalvin Cook 75-yard touchdown run. Clemson trying to stabilize its defense. They got a takeaway down at their own 5-yard line. And now they have some points with the short field goal. Defense got out to a little bit of a sleepy start against NC State last week and then got involved in a shootout. Venables says that was a dose of humility for this defense, which is #1 in a lot of crucial categories. And after the touchback, Knowles at the 25. Tonight on ABC, we'll see how Cordell Jones responds as starting quarterback. J.T. Barrett, of course, suspended after being cited. The Gophers come to Columbus, 8 o'clock on ABC.
Everybody anxious to see Cordell Jones in for J.T. Barrett and see how he plays tonight at home against Minnesota. And what it does to next week when they play Illinois. If he plays lights out, what do you do?
You say we're back to a quarterback decision in Columbus for about the 3rd or 4th time?
It could be. Could be.
But the crowd now back in it. As Clemson's defense has responded a bit. The offense has produced 3 points. McGuire backpedals and flips it short. Cook has a blocker on the edge and doesn't need much space. Able to pick up about 5 before Goodson forces him out.
Remember we talked about after the long run by Dalvin Cook, Brent Venables' adjustment, I'm sure his communication, what he's saying to these linebackers and safeties is, guys, we've got to do a good job of keeping our eyes on Dalvin Cook. We want to see if Sean McGuire, since he's the guy in for Everett Golson, can he make these decisions consistently and avoid the disastrous play? They've gotten him once on a turnover, but they want to put the game in his hands and make him have to make plays.
They fake it to Cook. McGuire delivers downfield. One-on-one coverage, and it's over the head. Looking for Kermit Whitfield, and it's hard to beat Mackenzie Alexander, the lockdown corner.
And how excited is he to get a chance to be left on an island and make plays? You know, they move him to the inside. You see him playing that nickel back, and what a great matchup that is with Whitfield with that speed against Mackenzie Alexander. Mackenzie, a wrestler in high school and a tough guy from, again, that state of Florida.
When scouts look at guys, they're looking for weaknesses. They're looking for flaws. They don't find many in this guy's game at all.
No, and I love how they move him around. Like I said, he's back into the inside, and now Shaq Lawson back from that shoulder injury, up trying to get pressure. He's actually right down here, just down there as a defensive lineman.
3rd and 6. Pressure comes. McGuire gets it away, incomplete. And a flag comes in. Whitfield was defended that time by Alexander. And a flag came in.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 2. The ball be placed. It's final foul. First down.
Little too aggressive that time.
Remember, they moved him into over that slot receiver of Kermit Whitfield because of the athletic ability and speed. They want that matchup, and he's okay there. Then he grabs on. That's where he had a problem. He was in great position there in the early part of the route, but when Whitfield made his cut to the inside, he locked in with that right arm and prevented him from getting to his spot. Dabo Swinney's fired up about it.
He's screaming at the official who threw the flag from a long way away.
Clemson has received an official sideline warning.
Each team has now been warned for getting a little too close to the field. Emotions boiling over here.
I see Shaq Lawson, despite that shoulder, still getting pressure there. And you're not going to see it there.
That wasn't
no,
part.
it was early. It was at the top of the route when he made his move to the inside.
Cook has a crease. Dalvin Cook loose again into Clemson territory to the 40 before Travis Blanks knocked him down.
Low center of gravity. It's another counter play where he's going to follow his fullback this time, Freddie Stevenson. The right guard actually pulls around Wilson Bell. That low center of gravity, he's kind of skipping along, and he's just waiting to make a cut on you. He broke 2 more tackles there, and we should start keeping track of yards after contact on Dalvin Cook.
Clemson allows 109 rushing yards per game. Cook has 128 after the first quarter. We're back in the Death Valley after this message and a word from your local ABC station.
You know what's funny?
Back for the second quarter, ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by K Jewelers. Seminoles on the march again, averaging 11 yards per play in that first quarter, thanks mostly to Dalvin Cook's 128 yards on 6 carries. Tigers not used to playing from behind. They did have to answer NC State's touchdowns last week. Cook again. Escapes a tackle. Tough to bring down this guy. He's the whole package.
He is, and I think, again, it's the vision, but it's the balance and the low center of gravity. Remember, he sat out last week. He's had the hamstring that's been bothering him. He's had the ankle last week. Here's that vision and balance we talked about. And, again, I think we definitely need to keep a track of the yards after contact, because so far these Clemson players, they're in a position they think to make a play, and they either miss or they have a guy. There it is right there. They have a guy in position, and the arm tackles are not going to bring him down. They've got to have 2 or 3 defenders there to have a chance.
Jaquez Patrick, no fun to tackle either, as the freshman barrels forward for a first down before Goodson stopped him. He emerged as a guy that they can count on if Cook cannot finish this game. Remember, he hasn't started and finished a game since Boston College in September, because he's had that hamstring problem.
Yeah, and not to mention, if everybody's healthy, he's still a nice guy to bring in.
Yeah.
Because they say he understands pass protection, and because he's a different style of runner, he is a downhill runner, and it gives this defense a different look. So I think he's great to bring in just to complement Dalvin Cook.
McGuire looking to throw on first down over the middle. Catch made by Ryan Izzo. And that tight end has a first and goal.
They are picking on these linebackers both in the run game and now in the pass. McGuire sits in that pocket, does a good job of getting behind the linebackers. There's a little hole here. He's got to throw it on a rope, which he does, and it gives his receiver this time Izzo a chance to go up and now get down to protect himself before TJ Green comes in to hit him. Great throw that time and getting the ball out fast and accurately by Sean McGuire.
Izzo, a terrific athlete. They haven't had the production that they got when O'Leary was here last year, but it's his 9th catch. Patrick hammers toward the corner, wrestled down just outside the 5 by Tankersley.
We'll talk later about Rick Trickett, the offensive line coach, but for a team that lost not only 4 starters up front, but 4 guys that played a lot of football. They have had some injuries up there. They've been shuffling the deck. This is the best they have played. It's early in this game in the second quarter, but Rick Trickett doing a heck of a job with this group. The best they played in the toughest circumstances all year.
Important sequence. The Noles have not been all that efficient down here in the red zone. Kick a lot of field goals down here. Patrick knocked down. Quick penetration by Goodson. It'll be 3rd and goal.
That's a great job, and the first time we've seen B.J. Goodson be able to penetrate. He's coming right through here on a blitz, and because he timed that up perfectly, there was nothing that Florida State's offensive line could do. Wilson Bell, the right guard, I think by the time he even came out of his stance, Goodson was by him.
Kirk, what do you call here now? They had the touchdown early from Cook from outside the red zone. They had the pick down inside the red zone last time.
This is where you miss a big receiver like a Benjamin and go up on a fade. They don't really have that guy. Jimbo's going to call a timeout to think it over.
And they haven't had great quarterback run game. McGuire's not that guy down in the red zone either, so it'll be interesting to see what Fisher calls here on 3rd and goal. Important moment is this game as the Seminoles, almost 11-point dogs, try to go up by 11. 3rd and goal from the 8 after the timeout.
You talked about what do you do here, and to me you got to be able to find a matchup where you get a crossing route. Travis Rudolph, probably their most physical receiver, if they can find a matchup that they like.
There he is in the slot to the right of McGuire. Whitfield took the pitch, running inside, and the Tigers snuff it out. Stop him short of the 5. It'll be 4th down, and another red zone fail for this talented offense. They just struggle down here.
Yeah, they do. And I think the big thing is they miss that big body that they've always had down in this area. And when you're going with kind of really a reverse or something to try to get the defense out of position, you're relying on a trick play. That tells you right now they're kind of grasping in the red zone to come up with touchdowns. 102nd in the nation coming into today on their touchdown percentage in the red zone.
So a chip shot for Aguirre, who by his own super lofty standards has been a little bit of a slump, but does not miss and still has an inside of 40. So a 69-yard field goal drive, and the Noles back up by 7.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, presented by Kay Jewelers. Brought to you by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy. Allstate, proud supporters of college football. Are you in good hands? And AT&T, mobilizing your world.
Breaking ground at what is the Clemson Tiger football dream home. New facility that'll incorporate their indoor practice facility, their offices. Dabo told me he wants the locker room here at the stadium to be special, something that the players only visit 7 times a year. He wants them to sweat and get dressed for practice in a different locker room, and they will once that new facility gets set up.
This program has reached a top 10 quality program, and their facilities are starting to match the product on the air.
Ray McLeod receives the kickoff at the 2 and gets pinned in. Does not get back to the 15. Mr. Falika, the Bear, made the journey with you from Tuscaloosa this morning, and he has our athletic trivia question for today.
Well, a lot of people remember Leroy Butler was the big part of that Putruski play in 1988, but who was the Florida State punter on the play that had the great sell of the staff over his head?
Oh, there's Dwayne Williams, whose son Garrett Williams plays for Clemson, who handed the ball off to Leroy Butler. I know
so you're ready for that. You're ready.
No, I just know that because he's a freshman on
whoever that
Clemson's
punter
team.
was, he did a heck of a job.
He leapt up in the air.
Jumped up in the air, yeah, turned around, started to chase it. He did a heck of a job.
Gallman blocking, and around the edge they hand it to Scott. So they try to get some yards on the edge, and the top receiver carries the ball for just the second time this year.
Well, the sledding so far have been pretty tough in the interior, so they try to get some yards to the outside, and now they're going with his tempo again.
Second and 1 throw, and now Scott gets a break or block and scampers out across the 31st down.
You know, you put 3 receivers into the boundary like that, and all Deshaun Watson needs to do, it's like a good shortstop, get the ball out of your hands as quickly as you can on a bang-bang play at first. That's what he did. He got the snap, got the ball out. He had 2 blockers, 2 of the receivers as blockers to take on 2 of the defensive backs, and picked up some yards for a first down.
He fake it to Gallman, move the pocket again, and Watson shots downfield for Renfro. No, incomplete. They took a shot with the scrappy former walk-on.
How about that effort there? How about the throw? It actually got into Renfro. He's on the inside. He works to the outside on a wheel route, and Elliott has to work around to get to him. You could see right away Renfro calling his shot. He put his right arm like, I got him. I can get there. That ball got in there. But he only had one hand to have a chance to be able to try to pull it in. Renfro having a great freshman year.
He sure is. He's a redshirt freshman. He's a high school option quarterback. As Gallman tests the middle, bounces off a tackle. Renfro was 155 pounds. Coach's son, Jim Rat, good shortstop, but his teammates just admire the heart and the will. He just wanted to get a chance to play at the highest level, and here he is.
And the coaches tell us he's probably, of all these 5-star recruits they go everywhere to get, he's a walk-on as a quarterback. Probably has the best change of direction of all the wide receivers, and probably other than Artavius Scott, the guy that he trusts the most to run the right route and be where he needs to be.
Not in the game on 3rd and 5. Watson has lots of room. And does make a man miss dives for a first down. He had to elude Jacob Pugh to move the chains, and he did.
Well, they rushed 3, and they had 8 guys, and Pugh had his eyes on him the entire time. He's right here, and he knows he's been here all week that Watson's going to run on 3rd down. He's in position, but that slippery field and a nice cutback gets the first.
Scott, as they're playing fast, makes the catch on the edge and muscles for 4 yards.
That doesn't show up in the stats as a run, but that's a run in this offense. That's just get the ball. We saw it earlier on this drive. Get the ball. We got 2 guys who are going to block, flip it out there, and it's like a 5-yard gain on a power play, but it's the modern era of college football in the spread.
Gallman, not much there. And Timmy Jernigan was a guy who was a nightmare for everybody, including Clemson last year. They don't have a Jernigan-type war daddy, perhaps, but they have a whole bunch of high-quality D linemen.
They sure do. And Christmas right now, DeMarcus Christmas, the sophomore, really emerging. Derek Noddy, 91. Now Lawrence Stample. They've got a nice rotation there in the middle. And so far in this game, the interior winning that battle against Clemson's offensive line.
Yet another 3rd down, the 6th already for Clemson, and Watson makes a mistake. He had Gallman wide open, who would have waltzed for a big gain, and that's the second overthrow, a bad one from Deshaun so far.
And they brought more than he can handle. It's a hot route, so instead of blocking it, they get Gallman out. Now just dump it, and you got exactly what you want. Nobody is covering him. If it's a softer touch and Gallman catches that, boy, he is turning the corner and off to the races.
Watson just exudes calm, as you know, Kirk. He's no longer stressed about his knee. He's trusting his protection. He had a terrific October, but by his standards, he would say he's disappointed in his start so far. A couple of missed opportunities in the passing game, and now Wilson makes a fair catch back inside the 10-yard line. 7:55 until intermission. The Seminoles back to work up by 7.
with your Taco Bell studio update. Mason Rudolph to Jeff Carr. Rudolph 8 of 11, 149 yards and 3 TDs. Oklahoma State up 21-9 over TCU. Chris Hervey, back to you.
How about the year Mason Rudolph was having for the Pokes, slinging it around?
And J.W. Walsh coming in to be a nice compliment. That 21-9, that's still pregame warm-ups in the Big 12.
Only touchdown here came in the second play from scrimmage. The Cook 75-yarder. Knowles have had 5 possessions, all in poor field position, backed up again here.
That time, Boulware makes a play on it, but it's been a rough outing for these linebackers and safeties and run support. Sometimes they're in the gap, but as we saw there, Green took a stiff arm from Dalvin Cook. This time, the cutback, they're out of position there, and nice block by Izzo, but these linebackers and safeties for Brent Venables, as this game goes on, boy, they're going to have to do a better job of kind of leveraging that football and not letting Dalvin Cook get out.
They've been averaging 8.2 per carry. He's more than doubled that so far against this normally stout defense. Hesitation just on sheer talent and hard work moves the chains again. Heather?
Kirk, after hearing what you just said about Clemson's defense, you won't be surprised to hear that defensive coordinator Brent Venables spent that entire series not talking to his entire defense, talking specifically to his linebackers, got the grease board out, spent the entire time reinforcing methods, showing them what they need to do to slow the run, talking gaps, talking schemes, then huddled them up and said, just be yourself.
You don't have to be extra special today. You got to be great, but you got to play as a group to stop a great back like Dalvin Cook.
Play action, first down. McGuire delivers a strike and a short gain. Travis Rudolph knocked down quickly there by Baker.
And on the other side, if you're Florida State and you've got a quarterback making his first start on the road in his entire career, you want to be able to run the ball, not just to take the pressure off of him. Every quarterback loves a great running game, but because of Jimbo Fisher and his system, it does start, even when Jameis Winston was here, with their ability to run the ball and get those safeties and linebackers so caught up in defending the run game that opens up the play action and gets McGuire in rhythm.
Second down handoff to Cook, who's hit immediately and manages very little, so it'll be third and short.
Shaq Lawson is showing a lot of heart today. Looked like he had a right shoulder that was bothering him. Heather talked about how he has that brace on, and they may be feeling the effects of that shoulder here on this big third down, having to go out, but he makes a big play there on second down. But he's a leader of this team. They lost a lot of leaders from a year ago. He's stepped up to be that anchor for this defense.
Knowles have not yet converted on third down, and it's a 104 on the DB meter, as they need to.
That man-to-man across the board here.
McGuire throws a slant, incomplete. He's trying to get the ball to Wilson, and excellent coverage by Tankersley, fourth down. Again, having trouble on third down.
On third and short, you're going to get crossing routes. You're going to try to get some separation, and Tankersley does a good job. It looked like his left hand might start to grab onto that jersey a little bit early, but he let go and came around with the right hand to knock that ball away. He has really grown as a first-year starter from where he was early in the year when they tried to pick on him to where he is now midway through the year. He's starting to make plays like that.
Renfro back and will make the fair catch at the 25-yard line. Little contact, but no flag. Clemson with 5:09 to work with before halftime. Back to work, down 7. Dad, Dwayne, played for Florida State. He was the up back in the famous punt. Ruski handed the ball to Leroy Butler, but Falika, that was not the question you asked us. What's the answer? Who was the punter in that infamous 88 game?
I knew you would be well prepared and tie the Dan Williams note in there, so I decided to give the third man involved the credit. That would be Tim Corlew, the punter.
Apparently, there was a hole in my preparation. You guys have there.
I thought you had it.
Nope. Zach Brooks in the game. Watson on the keeper, weaving his way and diving after a first down gain to the 38.
That is a quarterback draw all the way. He's following his running back that time, Brooks. His center, Guillermo, picks up big yards there on first down.
Hasn't been a sharp start for Watson, Kirk, but the Tigers would love to be able to drive the field here, tie the game, get back on even terms at halftime. Ray McLeod, one of the talented true freshmen, one of the guys from Tampa on this team. Crowd wanting a face mask penalty at the end of the run.
You're talking about two of the better true freshmen in the country. And Derwin James, who could have gone anywhere in the country, he did not grab the face mask. Derwin James and Ray McLeod.
Derwin was recruited by Clemson, but he had a Seminole tattoo on his arm about his sophomore year in high school. They weren't going to win that recruiting battle. There's a flag down.
Delay a game. Sideline interference on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Result of the penalty, first down.
All right, so that's a costly mistake. They were warned earlier, and the second time cost them a 5-yard penalty.
He's fired up about wanting the face mask call. They showed it actually here on their jumbo screen, and the crowd reacted. Dabo saw it himself. No, wasn't a face mask. Ray McLeod did take a hit, and he's going over to the sidelines. Good look at.
Some hesitation in this first down play. Nowhere to hand it for Watson, who decides to just slip forward for a gain to the 45-yard line inside of 4 minutes now in the first half.
We're starting to see him get involved in this running game, and he is an elusive runner that has a lot of big playability if he can find a crease. Florida State's aware of that.
Watson in the pocket. Now flushed. Chased. He just throws it away. DeMarcus Walker's had a terrific first half. He was giving chase of the quarterback that time.
This Wayne Gallman is, for the most part in this first half, he has been shut down. He has the 9 carries, only 32 yards, and he came in averaging over 5 yards a carry, and it's such a big part of who they are, the identity. We were bragging about, hey, this team has a lot of confidence. They're a balanced team. They can run the ball and not had much success up front.
It's already the 7th third down for Clemson. They flip it short. Catch made by Jermon Hopper, but he's going to be about 3 yards short of the marker as Terrence Smith and Ramsey combine. So 4th down, and decision here for Sweeney.
Yeah, I think it is across midfield there. Charles Kelly there, he's healthy. He's got Nate Andrews back. He's got Terrence Smith back. It's amazing to watch this defense when they have a play in front of them, how quickly they react to it.
Offense on the field on 4th and 3. Option look, pitch late, hit made, no first down. Scott stopped by Jalen Ramsey. Kelly going nuts. You want to run it number 8 on 4th down. Be careful.
That is a big-time play by an All-American and Jalen Ramsey, who does a good job at the top of your screen. Watch him work to get off a very physical receiver in Sharon Peak. Did you remember what Peak did to the Miami defensive back? He put him on his back. Today against Jalen Ramsey, Peak works off of him. And watch Charles Kelly, how excited he is. Yes! That's what I'm talking about. I love that emotion.
Just another game. This is a fired up coaching staffs on both sidelines. They know the meaning of this game about a lot more than just a division title. So the Noles defense with a stop. Now they got 2:57 to work with before halftime. A 2 tight end look and play action. McGuire again, backpedaling, hit as he throws and delivers it out of bounds. Goodson came on the blitz. No grounding call yet. They'll talk about it.
I wonder if they're talking about it was the ball tipped. That's probably what the officials are coming together on.
And now they'll throw the flag. There was nobody in that vicinity.
Intentional grounding on the offense. No player was in the area. Lost it down at the spot of the foul. Second down.
If you're wondering at home, you're panicking, why didn't they call it right away? It's because they may have felt that the ball might have been tipped. That's why they came together to talk it over. Great job by Goodson, by the way, timing up that blitz. Second time we've seen him. You're right, there is nobody there. But I love how the crew came together and talked it over and said, no, that ball came out clean. There was no issue at all with the deflection. It's definitely going to be a penalty.
Second and 24. Cook into traffic on the left side for a short game. We'll see if that penalty perhaps changes the philosophy. How aggressive is Fisher going to be trying to add to this lead before the break?
It's risky with a quarterback that's never made a start on the road. I mean, this is where you're usually doing the flanker screen or just something that's going to be simple. You play the field position game. You're under 3 minutes here. Your defense has had a heck of a first half. You don't want to do anything costly at this point.
You've had a nightmare on third down today. Now you need 21 yards. There really isn't a good call for 3rd and 21.
No. You're going to work that play clock down and probably even run the ball.
Play clock is down at 1. And don't know if he got it off.
Did not.
There is a flag that comes in.
Play again. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
There are even fewer plays to call on 3rd and 26.
I think he wanted to work that play clock down. Remember, he's dealing with a guy who's never made the start in this kind of atmosphere. And his 2 starts against Clemson at home last year and then last week against Syracuse.
And we get the House of Pain
a little bit of a different feel here in Death Valley.
Crowd has come back into it because the defense has been able to come up with some stops.
You run the ball here. You try to get Clemson, probably have to use one of their timeouts.
Another flag pre-snap.
Ball start. Offense.
This is an offensive line that in their last 2 road games has really had problems with pre-snap penalties. Off to a terrific start today. But they're so young and so inexperienced and haven't really conquered this kind of environment as a group yet.
Yeah, you're right. It's always tough on the road in college football in these big games. But they've averaged 46 points a game at home and only 15 points a game on the road. And a lot of that has to do with 4 new offensive linemen, a new quarterback, not having Rashad Green. I mean, there's a lot missing from last year. It makes it a lot tougher to do it on the road.
Yeah, Cook's touchdown, that was only the 6th touchdown in 3 road games that they played. Chance to check in with Cassidy Hubbard from the studio for an update. Cassidy?
Thanks, Chris. Got an update for the Big Ten. Jordan Howard with his 2nd touchdown of the day. This one for 29 yards. 17-14 Hoosiers over unbeaten Iowa in the 2nd on ESPN. Chris, I'll read back to you.
Wow, did you see that one coming today? Wilmington?
I thought there had a possibility of scoring with them. I thought Iowa would win.
The Bears saying you said Iowa big on game day.
You know why? I'll tell you later.
He's here to check you on that.
I'll tell you later. The Bear will tell you later.
Capital One halftime report. John, Mark, and Matt will update all of what's going on around the country. 3rd and 1, and the crowd is bonkers now. Cook, damage control, and now we'll see if Clemson uses the first of their timeouts.
Well, they're going to use, I think they have only 1 timeout left now.
Yeah, that's the 2nd, excuse me. So it'll be 4th down, and they'll get the ball back. Knowles just self-destructing on that sequence. Began with pretty good field position. The ball was at their 42-yard line. They just moved steadily backwards. And now Renfro, who doesn't normally create big plays with a punt return, they're used to just trying to make a fair catch, begin the series.
Right. And if you take away Dalvin Cook's long run, that was really, what was that, 70, 75? How far out did he go?
75 on the 2nd play of the game. Yep.
So you're looking at a pretty similar game for both teams offensively outside of the long run by Cook.
Their only touchdown came in the first 45 seconds here this afternoon. Beatty gets it away comfortably, and Renfro backpedals, drops it, chases it down inside the 20. So a nice boot from Kason Beatty. 51 yards, so much for good field position.
Yeah, that was a big punt, and you could tell Renfro struggled the whole way to get a kind of a feel for where that ball was going to come down. He was lucky to jump back on top of that. Tyler Hunter was right there.
Here's our Pacific Life game summary. Talked about the Noles coming in as underdogs and a little bit disrespected, inspired. Cook providing a spark. showing no ill effects of the ankle or the hamstring problems. 157 at halftime. Tigers now with 1:24 and 1 timeout. Watson steps up, delivers over the middle. And the catch made by Leggett on his backside. First down to the 35.
So even though you've had a bad first half and 1:17 to go, this is where you're trusting your quarterback comes into play. They're backed up deep into their own territory. You have Deshaun Watson. You get aggressive.
At 18 on the first play. And there's a throw into a narrow window.
It was right there. Hit him right in the chest. That ball got in there to the freshman, but he should have held on to it. Deion Kane. I don't think anybody got a finger on that. That was a tight window, but that ball got through, and it just bounced off of his chest.
Ramsey came diving in late to perhaps distract the freshman, who's freakishly talented. He's becoming a bigger part of this offense. Watson, downfield shot, Leggett, diving catch inside the 40. They have worked the middle successfully in this half to the big tight end.
Yeah, they get behind the linebackers, and that gives you an idea of his arm strength. Deshaun Watson throws again. That is a laser over the linebackers and in front of the safeties to Leggett.
So gains of 18 and now 28 yards. And Clemson working closer to field goal range now.
See Nate Andrews, who is a safety, but when they go into their money package, which is 6 defensive backs on the field, he comes up to play up close, almost like a linebacker. But when you have an arm like that, it gives you an ability to be able to throw that ball 30 yards, 25, 30 yards downfield. But again, on an absolute it's just a frozen rope. And Leggett is a guy he has a lot of confidence in that can make those catches. They were backed up inside their own 20 when they started this drive. And now Deshaun Watson, probably the best he's looked throwing the football here to start this drive the entire first half.
Knowles, after spending a time on defense, trying to pressure Watson, who escapes. Deshaun Watson into the secondary, into the red zone, and out of bounds at the 12. And now they're thinking 7, not 3.
And he's following those linemen downfield. Pretty good effort there by Deion Kane to pick up a big block. They got him about another 10 or 12 yards before he stepped out of bounds. You can see that acceleration, too. He kind of slips his way through and then hits that next gear.
Elite speed, doesn't he?
Yep.
Final minute now. 3 chunk plays on this possession. And now Watson looks far side. There's Kane with a stiff arm. A short gain. 51 seconds to play.
Deion Kane, 6'2" and 200 pounds, a high school quarterback in his own right. Along, we talked about Hunter Renfro, the redshirt freshman, who is a high school quarterback, an option quarterback. And Kane and Ray McLeod, both from that area, played Pee-wee football together, and now here they are playing for Clemson.
McLeod was a high school running back, so they take great athletes and then teach him the position. He's actually played very little receiver, so he's very raw but very gifted.
He's going up against one of the best corners in the country, up at the top, in Jalen Ramsey.
And then Zach Brooks came in motion. And Florida State, for the second time in this sequence, will take a timeout on defense. It's their last of the half.
Go back and look at him. Zach Brooks is going to follow the lineman downfield. Look to the right there. There's Deion Kane trying to do everything he can against Jalen Ramsey. But the acceleration by Deshaun Watson, 6'2", 210 pounds. Right there, he makes his mind up. There's the block, and a little bit of a stiff arm there to the linebacker. It's that combination, that skill set of being able to be a real threat as a runner and being able to throw dimes all across the field as a thrower. It makes this offense just so hard to defend.
Now, Kirk, it's Clemson's turn to get down and face one of these crucial red zone situations. 27 trips for the Tigers. They've found the end zone 17 times so far this season.
Well, Leggett has 6 touchdown receptions, as you talked about earlier. He is a real threat to tight end. He's in motion here in this area of the field.
Watson running all the way. Has a lead block from Brooks. It's a short game before Walker knocks him down. Yeah, clock running.
They're used to tempo. They want to save that timeout.
So they're lining up quickly now. 3rd down. They need 3.
Interesting. Oh, I think he made a mistake there. I think he thought that might have been 2nd down.
Yeah, well, now it's no choice.
4th down.
Dabo can't believe it. Here comes a field goal attempt.
You don't see that. I don't know if he was confused. I could tell by the way he's hurrying him up. I'm thinking, is he yelling fire, fire, fire? He was hurrying him up so quickly. I thought maybe they had the play already called. That's what You know,
He was saying, I was saying, let's go, not clock it, perhaps. So Watson got confused by the signal from the sidelines.
But third down, you know, you almost never want to clock it on third down.
I understand.
Unless the clock's down to two
unless you're counting on 5 downs.
No, unless you're down to 3, 2, and 1, and you're just trying to get out of there.
Hugel, the chip shot from 25 yards. He's 2 for 2. So Clemson goes 75 yards, a field goal drive, but a disappointing finish to the drive. And the Noles are going to take a 4-point lead to intermission, the first time Clemson's trailed at halftime.
You can see the look on Dabo Swinney's face. You're seeing some things that have happened that have been uncharacteristic of this Clemson team that we've seen for 8 games. The way the game started, where they were in position to be able to, with T.J. Green, to maybe rep up and tackle Dalvin Cook, and they miss a tackle, and it's a 75-yard touchdown. Here, where you have your best player on the team, Deshaun Watson, moving the ball right down the field, and then he fires the ball on a third down, and they have to kick a field goal. Just a mental mistake, something we haven't seen all year from Watson.
Well, tonight on ESPN at 7 o'clock, Michigan State, number 7 in the selection committee rankings, tries to stay unbeaten. They head to Nebraska to take on the Cornhuskers. Rough first season for Mike Riley in Lincoln. It's all presented by Hilton Hotels at 7 Eastern and on the Watch ESPN app. So Clemson at the moment now outgaining Florida State after the Noles with that big start from Cook dominated the first quarter. And there's the pooch kick. It takes a big hop and finally is collected there by Whitfield, trying to make some space on the far side. And he is going to be dropped short of the 30-yard line. 23 seconds to go. No timeouts for the Noles. Allstate bringing you this week's rankings. We talked about Clemson. Your reaction when you saw Clemson, LSU, Ohio State, and Alabama, the first 4?
I wasn't necessarily shocked about Clemson at 1 because of the resume and who they had beaten. I thought all 4 had a chance to be up there. I thought Baylor would have been a little bit higher. You can see today TCU down to Oklahoma State. By the way, Oklahoma State undefeated down at 14 at 8-0. They're up early in that game, 28-9.
You talk about a team that could take a huge leap up in consideration. You beat TCU at home, and they're doing so easily right now. Look out for the Pokes. So Watson, disappointment at the end of the half, but Clemson has climbed within 4. The end of 30 minutes here in Death Valley. The Capital One halftime report is coming up, including a visit with Heather Cox and Jimbo Fisher right after these messages.
Back to the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive Game of the Week.
And welcome back to ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Kay Jewelers. And this presentation of the ACC on ESPN. First Clemson home game as the #1 ranked team in their history, a chance to clinch the division, to dethrone the Seminoles. All week from both sides, just another game. But you can tell the intensity, and Kirk, some normally very poised, reliable guys, making a couple mental mistakes, but a pretty good first half, and now it sets up as a great finish.
A great first half as far as feeling each other out, competitiveness, and now it sets up these last 30 minutes where both these offensive, they wanted to try to get through that first half, save some things, and now you open up the entire playbook and you ask your athletes to make plays and try to go win it in the second half.
Dalvin Cook was the story early. 75-yard bolts. 45 seconds into the game, the Noles had silenced this big crowd. After that, Clemson's defense did a much better job. Each team has had to kick a field goal in the red zone. And now the Tigers will get the ball to begin the second half. Guayo trying to take Tavis Scott, the talented returner, right out of play here. And he does so by hammering the ball through the back of the end zone. Has been putting it to work, brought to you by Carhartts. Well, it's easy, number 4.
Yeah, give it to him early. Oh, a great look at a stiff arm that he put on early in this game as he went to the house for a touchdown, and he has been a physical back. You know, he's known for his great quickness and great speed, but he's been tough for this defense to be able to try to contain. Now, give Clemson credit. You know, outside of that long touchdown run, they've given up some yards, but they have not let them into the end zone other than the one touchdown.
Watson, meanwhile, 12 of 21 in the first half, ran it 9 times. Gallman really hasn't busted loose yet for the Tigers. Reggie Northrup on the stop.
And see, if I'm Jeff Scott and Tony Ellett, the co-offensive coordinators, along with Dabo Swinney, and you're in there at halftime, and you're thinking, what do we got to do to get this thing going? I'm challenging my offensive line. They've got to do a better job at trying to assert themselves up front, control the line of scrimmage a little bit better, and get that running game going.
5 receivers. Watson, quick hesitation, and then just dives forward on the keeper. It'll be 3rd and 2. Heather?
Chris and Kirk, I talked to Dabo Swinney about what he said to his quarterback, Deshaun Watson, after that mental error to end the second quarter. He said, you know what, it was a mistake. He thought he saw a signal. He made a mistake. We choose to focus on the positive. We got some points out of a great drive. As for adjustments in the second half, he said we missed opportunities. We missed some layups. We can't do that in the second half. Also, guys, wide receiver Ray McLeod is out with a right knee injury, so he joins right guard Tyrone Crowder, who's also out for Clemson.
Broken up by Jalen Ramsey on 3rd and 2 as he got a long arm up there. They tried to pop the quick pass, and Ramsey sniffed it out.
Again, that's their answer sometimes to these blitzes on 3rd and short, is just a little hot pass, almost a jump pass. But not only does Jalen Ramsey knock that away, you can see the safety, Brutus, would have been right there, have a chance to make a tackle short of the first down. So Charles Kelly, the defensive coordinator from Florida State, dialing some things up and doing a good job of affecting the rhythm of Deshaun Watson and the Clemson Tiger defense.
3 and out for Clemson to start this 3rd quarter. Here's Teasdall. And Wilson charged up, thought about it, but lets the short punt bounce. It's a good Clemson roll. Goes dead at the 22-yard line. So 45-yard kick. How do you assess the play of Sean McGuire? Obviously Cook and the offensive line surprisingly poised in here. What about number 10?
Well, they haven't asked him to do a whole lot. He's 5 of 10, just 51 yards, and has the one interception early in the game where he kind of threw it up, and we saw Adrian Baker make a good play on it. But their goal tonight is to run the football and put him in a position to be able to throw on his terms, as opposed to being put in those 3rd down and long situations.
Here's a first down drop back. McGuire loops it downfield. Deep throw. Wilson broken up. He took a shot right away, but Tankersley closed and knocked it away.
Well, he's got a lot of confidence in his arm strength, and we saw him make some throws last week and hit these receivers on the money. But this ball right here, just at the end, you could see it just didn't quite have enough. And I go back to the beginning of the play. He looks like he takes an extra 1 hitch, 2 hitch, 3 hitches. And when you've got the speed of a guy like Bobo Wilson, you got to take 1 hitch and let it go, put it up in the air and as far as you can throw it. He took 1 too many hitches there, and he ended up having his receiver downfield too far.
On 2nd and 10, McGuire is chased, flushed, and drops for a loss by Goodson. So how about Fisher, Kirk, going for the haymaker in the first play of the 3rd quarter, doesn't get it, and now it's another 3rd and long.
And now he's seeing a defense. When they missed the home run shot, they went for the big one for Jimbo. They come back on 2nd and 10. You know, on one hand, you appreciate his confidence that he's showing in his quarterback, but now you see Brent Venables in the defense, a zone blitz, bringing both linebackers, Boulware and Goodson, and dropping Kevin Dodd. It confused McGuire. Nothing to do but just eat the ball.
Have not yet converted tonight. On 3rd down, they need 13.
Now they're walking around, kind of creeping around, trying to affect the pass protection.
Play clock winding down again. Does McGuire see it? Flags, he didn't. All that pre-snap stuff by Venables' defense.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Well, you've got a quarterback who's never made a start on the road. And you've got an offensive line that not only is breaking in 4 new starters this year for Jimbo Fisher, but when it comes to pass protection, the communication, being on the same page. I'm a right tackle. I'm looking to you, Chris, as a right guard. You and I have got to trust each other's hand signals. It's hard to communicate. Quarterback, the play clock's running down. There's a lot that goes on before the ball is snapped, and it's very challenging on the road in this kind of environment to communicate.
Again, 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and a junior in that O-line, and they just give it to Cook on 3rd and 18. Can't really call it a give-up play when Cook's got the ball at all. He gets out to the 29. TJ Green that time unlike the opening run for Cook, made the tackle, and it's 4th down. And again, penalties undoing things.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They decided to take that long shot, throwing the ball downfield, and the thing you know about that, if it doesn't end up coming through for you, you're going to have a 2nd and 10. And never go away from Dalvin Cook. That 3rd and 18, he comes up just a yard or two short.
So for Clemson, Martavis Scott replaces Renfro as the punt returner as they try to make a big play. But Beatty drives him back. The high boot, fair catch made at the 20-yard line. So neither offense can do much in its first possession of the 3rd quarter. There's the Allstate bus and a chance to remind you to join the Allstate It's Good sweepstakes. Win $100,000 plus a VIP trip to the Allstate Sugar Bowl and the national championship game in Glendale, as well as weekly prizes throughout the season. Get an old-fashioned slugfest here. The only touchdown score was in the first minute of the game. Clemson, a shot taken. That's Kane, the freshman. A nice dart from Watson, and they move the sticks quickly.
And he does a nice job as a young freshman at getting his hands up and getting off of Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey came up right away, started to communicate with his safety, Brutus, saying, hey, you got to help over. You got to come over and help me out.
Now they feed Gallman, who just runs into heavy traffic. Clemson expected to have more success running between the tackles. They have all year long, but not today so far.
I'll tell you, a guy who is really emerging for this defensive line is DeMarcus Christmas, number 90, the sophomore from Sarasota. He just, tonight especially, you're seeing him just drive these linemen back into the backfield.
Scott on the end around. Knocked down at the 40. It'll be another 3rd down. Marquez White on the tackle.
He lowered the boom there. Marquez White been challenged all week by Charles Kelly. He and Jalen Ramsey got to get involved in run support. Everybody talks about corners at Florida State. You think of prime time. You're thinking about being able to cover people on an island. But White, 6 feet, about 185 pounds, coming in and being involved in that run support.
He walked onto the Knowles basketball team a couple years ago. Last season, actually. On 3rd and 6, Watson flushed. Can he escape? Yes, 1st down. Midfield slides to the Seminole 45-yard line. It's been one of the best plays for Clemson tonight was the quarterback scramble.
Well, all week, Chris, I wondered when they got to 3rd down, what would Florida State do? They play so much man-to-man, but when you play man under, it means everybody, all your linebackers are locked up in man coverage, and your back's turned to the quarterback, and Deshaun Watson is going to take off and run. You can't stop him.
At 15 yards there now, Scott. Just not much on the edge. Terrence Smith and Brutus there. Not much. Nothing.
How about the crack block that time by Deon Kane, the freshman. Again, he's a true freshman going against Jalen Ramsey. Look right here, coming from the left. Boom! Little crack block. Needs to make sure his head's on the right side there, as they don't get a block in the back.
Gallman motions out. Watson buying time, chased and flips it complete. That's Scott, a diving catch inside the 40. It'll bring up 3rd down and 3.
What a big difference between 3rd and 10 and 3rd and 3. The big fella, Lawrence Staple, is down.
When they move the pocket like that, it makes it tough. These defensive linemen like Lawrence Staple, they 300-pounder. You got to chase the quarterback a lot.
What was great, if you're a Clemson fan, about that is a design drop back, and it shows you the relationship you have between Watson and Artavius Scott, his favorite receiver in this lineup. It was a broken play. As soon as he got into trouble, he went to his left, and Scott saw his eyes. They connected, and he broke away from his defender.
On NFL Countdown on ESPN, you can meet the dozens of high school players throughout the state of Indiana named Peyton, after you-know-who. It's one of the features on Countdown following the NFL Insiders Boomer and the Gang Sunday at 10 Eastern on ESPN. So this time, the Tigers need a long 2 on 3rd down. Got to reach the 36.
See how the receivers are stacked? Because of the man-to-man tendencies by Florida State, the stacked receiver gives them a free release.
Watson flips it back. Kane has a blocker. Deon Kane headed for the end zone. Touchdown, Tigers. yards on third down, and Clemson's first touchdown and first lead. Big future here, this guy. Big future. Hugo makes it 13-10. 80-yard drive in 7 plays.
Artavius Scott usually makes the plays for these guys. Stacked receivers, and look at the linemen getting downfield. They got Florida State out of position with the formation. They looked like it might be a screen to the right. They came back to the left to Kane, and there is the speed in the open field. The Tigers have their first lead.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, presented by K Jewelers, brought to you by the Restyled Accord from Honda. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And Walmart. Get ideas for your game time party at walmart.com/game-time recipes.
Our Dr. Pepper Championship Drive game of the week. It's now 13-10 Clemson as the Tigers lead for the first time. Coordinated crowd here. They got their cell phones out. Beautiful scene here as it turns into night. Whitfield has a crease, and Kermit slams down at the 30-yard line. Then a look at the Tigers scoring play.
Yeah, you have the stacked receivers on both sides, here and here. But watch how the running back going this way gets this linebacker right here occupied, and this linebacker blitzes, so there's really nobody left here. Once he dumps this, now you've got the lineman coming downfield. We get a block here, and this guy gets behind it, and he's going to be able to get the numbers that he needs. The center, look at him. Guillermo has nobody. It's just a foot race to the end zone between he and Kane.
And now a misfire on the offensive line. This O-line beginning to feel the pressure. It's a sophomore, Wilson Bell. The last 3 Florida State drives, just 27 total yards and 1 first down. And now the noise will be amped up even more. They sense that this offense is rattled now.
Without a doubt, this is where you're going to get Sean McGuire as a first-time starting quarterback, even though he's a junior on the road. He's never faced this environment with young offensive linemen. Very important they maintain their poise at this point in the football game.
First and 15, Clemson rushes only 4. McGuire threw it into traffic, nearly intercepted there. Travis Blanks, the linebacker, dove in front.
Well, he was kind of sitting back behind Rudolph as if to say he's open, throw it, he's open, and you can see he gets a great jump on it right there. And there's a little bit of a miscommunication because McGuire threw right where Rudolph was, and Rudolph was working back to the outside, and he threw it right to number 11, Travis Blanks. He catches that ball, Chris. He high steps to the end zone.
Should have been the second pick tonight for the Tigers defense. Crowd roaring. McGuire delivers a low strike. Catch made by Whitfield. He still needs 6 more for a first down.
The only spot he could put that football. Low and away from the defender. TJ Green diving in there gives him at least a chance here on third down. A lot of crossing routes would be in play here for these receivers. You're probably going to get a blitz.
Man, how confident can you be as a quarterback? They're 0 for 6. Best third down defense in the country.
And Brent Venables dials up a lot of different looks. Nobody in the backfield means you better get the ball out of your hands fast.
They back out, don't blitz. McGuire has time, fires sidelines, catch made. Wilson. And they finally convert on third down to midfield.
What a great job here by Bobo Wilson, working himself back to the football. There's another example where the quarterback scrambles, he breaks down, and he's got to be able to get back to the football. He's right here, he comes back, he runs his route, but it was really about the adjustment once the quarterback has to extend the play. See him work back right there.
McGuire pressured on first down, just lobs lobs it up, and the catch is made by Rudolph. He beat Mackenzie Alexander, who didn't spy the ball.
No, a wheel route. He's on the inside, man-to-man. He uses his own receiver, who's also covered in man-to-man. They cross. Mackenzie gets caught up just enough, and then he doesn't see the football. The ball's underthrown. He doesn't do a good job of coming back to the football. And once again, Sean McGuire feeling the pressure. That time, DJ Reader getting in.
Two big completions that move the Noles to the 33. Cook runs into an orange wall, gains a yard. This run defense off to a very slow start, Kirk, but they have responded well since that opening run.
The adjustment and what you've seen, at least here in this second half, when Brent Venables had a chance for 20 minutes to get everybody's undivided attention, was attacking the line of scrimmage.
They're playing quick on the toss sweep. Cook has a lead blocker. Tries to get the edge and fights hard, as he always does. Down inside the 25, J-Ron Curse stopped them. It'll be third and about a yard.
Yeah, and they try to go. Reason you're seeing Florida State go hurry up. You're used to seeing Clemson get to hurry up. Florida State going hurry up to try to get a confident defense right now to be out of position, and it actually worked.
Sweeney was questioning the spot. He was pointing to a spot about 2 yards back. Better get Dabo back off the field. 3rd and 1. Cook, nothing. He lost a yard. Now what do you do on 4th and a yard and a half? Certainly within field goal range to tie it, and he just says field goal. There's your answer, Kirk.
Yeah, and he's frustrated about it, but good against good. Everybody knows that you're more than likely going to see Dalvin Cook following that fullback.
$20 and give you minutes, text.
Cassidy Hubbard with your studio update. Number 18 Ole Miss in a battle with Arkansas. Brandon Allen to Drew Morgan, 31 yards for the score. That would tie it at 24, but Ole Miss has just responded and scored. They're up 30-24 in the third. Chris, Herbie.
Cassidy, thank you. Light rain beginning to fall here in Clemson. It's been a very rainy season. Unusual, these parks. They always talk about haven't had a rainy home game. They've had a few.
We've been here to see them.
So Aguayo, after tying the game, boots it away high. And it's taken at the 5-yard line by C.J. Fuller. Remember, Heather reporting that Ray McLeod is out, so he will not be a part of the special teams anymore. On ABC, Saturday Night Football presented by Walmart. Gophers and the Buckeyes from the shoe with Cardell Jones back as starting quarterback. Clemson's offense last time they had the ball marched 80 yards for a go-ahead touchdown.
Deshaun Watson accounting for 79 of those 80 yards. He was 5 for 5. Actually had one run there for 15 yards.
Shaking off the couple of overthrows and that mental mistake that he made, spiking the ball on 3rd down at the end of the half, as you would expect he would. It was a high misfire, though. Scott was well covered over there by White.
A lot of these players from the skills standpoint, Artavius Scott, Deion Kane, who made that touchdown reception, know a lot of these Florida State players from going back to when they were in Little League and even in high school.
On 2nd down, Peak makes the catch. Sharon Peak is the only guy on the Clemson side, Kirk, that has played in a win over Florida State. He's that 50-year guy. He played and then redshirted later in his career, but obviously 3 straight Florida State wins. Only number 19 knows what it's like to walk off the field beating these Seminoles.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, and that's why I think there's such desire and hunger from this team this week. They realize the opportunity they have. Here comes another big 3rd down here.
Leggett, the tight end, in motion. Knowles brings some pressure up the middle. Incomplete. That was Renfro getting caught up in traffic. Couldn't get past Pugh. And it's 4th down again.
You know, Pugh is known because of his ability to rush a quarterback, but we've seen him this year also be able to drop, and this time he's lined up here and then comes completely over, and I don't think Deshaun Watson even thought about him. He sees 16 and he's lined up close to the line of scrimmage. He's thinking he's going to be there as a pass rusher, and there's again Charles Kelly coming up with a different look there on third down to try to confuse the receivers and quarterbacks.
Andy Teasdale not used to being this busy. It's Wilson charging forward. Didn't field it, but it takes a good bounce for Florida State and is down at the 49-yard line. This is the 11th season for Allstate, sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, making contributions to general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point. Allstate has contributed millions in scholarship funds. So very good field position for an offense for the Noles that's been struggling lately after just a 28-yard punt.
Sean McGuire, look at him in there, challenging guys. He's talking to these guys right now in this huddle. He senses an opportunity with his field position, and he's challenging himself and the line.
It's been poor field position tonight until this possession for Florida State. Cook, the first down carry. Knocked backwards. Quick penetration by Ben Boulware, the junior linebacker.
I keep going back to this, but the adjustment is everybody at the line of scrimmage. Other than the corners, when they go with one tight end and two running backs, I formation, we are going to put people at the line of scrimmage. The 4 down linemen, the 3 linebackers, and the 2 safeties. 9 guys up there to leverage that ball and win the battle at the line of scrimmage to make McGuire have to throw to move the ball.
And they've contained Cook since that early explosion, haven't they? McGuire, a dart catch made by Wilson, who darts out of bounds across midfield. It'll be 3rd down, and they'll need 5.
Sean McGuire's background in high school out of New Jersey, he kind of ran the old single wing T where he didn't throw the ball a lot. More really a runner in high school, but did enough in high school and in camps to be seen by a lot of schools. Was known as a pretty highly touted quarterback coming out of high school.
Number 55, Chad Mavedia, a lifelong friend. You got 2 guys from Sparta, New Jersey in this team. What are the chances? On 3rd and 7, McGuire has time, delivers a strike, far side, and falling down is Whitfield. He gets the first down, but had more yardage had he been able to keep his feet.
Mackenzie Alexander was trying to get the safety over. You see him go in motion. Well, to the left there, you can't see it. But Mackenzie Alexander's trying to get help over because he realized the defense, you see Kurtz turn around right away? They did not adjust to Whitfield going in motion. They didn't have enough defensive backs in that area, and good recognition there by McGuire. They're going to have to make a big pass play on 1st and 10.
And give it to Cook, who's knocked head over heels there. Christian Wilkins has had a nice ball game. He took number 4 and put his feet up in the air.
Well, he is so impressive. Every time he makes a play, I got to remind people, because he's 6'4", 315 pounds, that he's a true freshman. Can you imagine him on a high school field last year at 6'4", 315 pounds out of Springfield, Massachusetts? Played basketball growing up. Just a great athlete who happened to balloon defense.
5 receivers, empty backfield, and another false start in this Florida State offense.
Number 71, 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's Brock Rubel, a freshman, is starting because Derek Kelly is banged up.
See Shaq Lawson, who I don't blame him for trying to get a head start. Rubel making one of his first starts in front of this kind of crowd. He doesn't want to allow Shaq Lawson to go around him, so he's trying to get a little bit of a jump. And after he jumped back, Shaq Lawson kind of stepped across the line of scrimmage, almost to say, "It's all right, rookie. Slow down, slow down." It might have been Dodd, actually, Kevin Dodd that time, telling him to just relax.
McGuire jumping around, trying to get guys lined up here. Yeah, good luck quieting the crowd. Did you see that? That won't work here, Sean. And that doesn't work either. McGuire's fired up at his center.
Game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Another freshman up there is Alec Eberle. That's the 3rd delay of game
Well, the reason he's frustrated is he's trying to get the ball snapped. He lifted the leg. He's clapping his hands. He and the center right now are not on the same page, and it's costing Florida State. It's not just how many penalties that they have, Chris. It's the timing and when they're coming up with these penalties. That's 9 now for 65 yards, and a number of them have been false starts.
It had been a very clean start for this offense, but not after halftime. So 2nd and 20 now. Play clock winding down again. Got to hurry. Just got it off. McGuire delivers, and Rudolph dropped it. Normally reliable player coming off a career game last week. Just dropped that one.
Yeah, you can't go on the road and self-destruct. It's hard enough to play against Clemson, let alone when you're making good players making mistakes. And Travis Rudolph, who had a monster game last week, 5 catches, over 100 yards, 3 touchdowns. That one just slips right through his fingers.
A monster game after what he felt was a rough game against Georgia Tech.
Right.
A couple of key drops in that loss. 3rd and 20. Loud again. They get it out quickly. Wilson makes the catch and takes a shot at the 40-yard line. It's 4th down.
Very surprised we did not see a flag come in there on defenseless player.
It's Javon Harrison, not Wilson, making the catch,
And
but he got hammered.
Wilkins hits him up high. Defenseless player, ball is tipped, and then right there.
His head was bent forward, wasn't he, by the initial arm, and then he got snapped backwards after the 2nd hit. But again, a once promising drive for Florida State, short-circuited by false start penalties and a delay of game. And Beatty tries to pin the Tigers deep. Excellent job. Dropped the tip, hit that sand wedge, and they finally collect the ball at the 6-yard line. After the Arizona-USC game over on ESPN. Stick around for Sports Center at night. Recap of the busy day. Also streaming live on the Watch ESPN app. So now if you're Clemson, you'd love to create something on this drive, but perhaps more importantly, Kirk, just take care of the football. It's beginning to be a rainy night. Tie game, late 3rd quarter.
Yeah, but again, because I think the faith that they have in Deshaun Watson, I think they still maintain their approach no matter where they are on the field.
It's Gallman running behind a 2 tight end look, and that's a productive running play by the standards of what they've been able to create tonight. They get about 6.
Yeah, one of the first creases we've seen with this offensive line being overmatched at times against the athletic ability and the strength of Florida State's D-line. But that time, that's what you're used to seeing from Wayne Gallman. When he gets the ball in his hands, he's used to having 5 or 6 yards to be able to make some productive yards for Clemson's offense.
Watson on the roll, throws it, and the catch is made. A very short gain there by Hopper, but it's enough to move the chains.
Deshaun Watson's already ready to snap this football. There they go with that double stack look again. Remember, they ran a screen here.
Gallman, stutter steps. That's another positive first down running play for the guys tonight, and averaged less than 3.5 a carry.
And that is such a big aspect of their offense that's been missing tonight, because it freezes the linebackers. It makes them have to respect Gallman, and then you can get back out to getting the ball out quickly to Artavius Scott and these receivers.
Tigers trying to squeeze in one more play before the 3rd quarter expires, and Watson off and running. First down, slides down short of the 40. So the ACC game of the season. Division title on the line. Playoff hopes on the line. 15 minutes to play here in Clemson. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. We are set for the final quarter of this presentation of the ACC on ESPN. Game of the year in this league is typical of how close ACC games have been. More than half of the ACC games, Kirk, decided by a touchdown or less. That's way more than any Power 5 conference.
Yeah, I think you could make a pretty strong argument top to bottom. This is a conference that week in and week out, you see competitive games.
Average margin just 11 points. It's 19 points if you look at the rest of the FBS leagues. Fourth quarter begins with a swing pass to Gallman, who gets the edge and barrels into Florida State territory. So the leading rusher in every game until this one for Clemson. Finally makes the play, but it's in the pass game.
Yeah, they are doing what they can to try to get him loose. Nice job of the blocking by the receivers. Renfro that time taking the guy, the defender, the linebacker, Terrence Smith, out of the play, who had Gallman man-to-man.
15-yard gain on that play, and a short gain of 2 on first down. Ramsey again involved from his corner position. And a Seminole defender down on the field. One of the near sidelines there. Is that Hoskins?
Yeah, I think it is.
Or Derek Hoskins, the middle linebacker. It's a test for the defense, isn't it? Clemson has cranked up the tempo. They haven't really negatively impacted the Noles yet, Kirk, but they've run 61 plays. They've won 16 more plays than the Noles have tonight.
Well, but I think Florida State kind of anticipated that. That's why you've seen a big rotation up front with the defensive line and even in the secondary. They're trying to keep their bodies fresh for this fourth quarter.
Thank you, Rockstar.
Update: number 14 Oklahoma State all over number 8 TCU. Mason Rudolph has 5 TD passes, 3 of them to James Washington. This one for 74 yards. 42-16 Cowboys. Chris Hervey, back to you.
Very strong statement by the Cowboys today. On 2nd and 8, Watson flips back. It's a screen, and Renfro couldn't corral it. The Noles have been all over these screens tonight.
Yeah, they have. There are a lot of different white jerseys running towards Renfro. Even if he catches that ball, that play is not going anywhere. The other thing, they're mixing up. Remember earlier we saw Leggett getting down the middle of the defense with 2 safeties kind of splitting the field in a cover 2 look. They have mixed up their look from single high to 2 high, making it tougher for Deshaun Watson or those receivers.
3rd and 8, Watson looks downfield. It's off the fingertips of Kane. He was well defended by Derwin James. That was true frosh on true frosh there.
And this is a superstar in the making. Derwin James is usually up close to the line of scrimmage and blitzes a lot. This time he's back showing his ball skills. And without that play right there, that's a completion. He gets behind, a little push there on Ramsey, but he gets behind him. But as you said, Chris, the true freshman James knocking that ball out of the hands of the true freshman Kane.
Guy's had 3 starts. He's the number 3 tackler in this defense. He's just a natural playmaker hitter, as you said. I think he's already a star.
He is. He's going to be big time.
It's a very short but high kick. And Wilson makes a fair catch at the 13-yard line. Heather, what do you have?
Well, Chris, after the 3 false starts for Florida State, Jimbo Fisher immediately came over to his offensive line, went straight to center Alec Everly and got in his face and yelled, "Snap the ball." That's all you have to do, snap the ball. Then the O-line coach, Rick Trickett, gathered them all around and simply said, "Relax. We have 25 seconds to snap the ball. Do not panic." It was a very frustrated Florida State O-line. Lots of heads a-hanging, guys.
They better wake up right now, Heather. No time to hang your head in a 13-13 game in the fourth quarter.
There's a catch by Rudolph, and they move the chains quickly.
And it's a great call by Jimbo Fisher because of what Clemson's been doing on early downs. Look at the guys at the line of scrimmage. What's been the adjustment to stop Dalvin Cook? 9 guys up to the line of scrimmage. Challenge this Florida State running game. Make Sean McGuire in the passing game beat you. And that's a great adjustment by Jimbo Fisher on 1st and 10 instead of running, throwing the football to try to back that defense off a little bit.
McGuire well protected, and Rudolph a 2nd catch. He's 5th. No real big gains. He's been contained. He had the drop, but now the quarterback trying to find some rhythm here.
Absolutely. And when you have a defense that doesn't respect your quarterback and doesn't feel threatened in that area, you've got to make them feel that way. You've got to throw the ball on 1st and 10. Throw to set up the run.
And now they pitch it to Whitfield, who's in the backfield, and Kermit sprints out near the 40. So the Florida State offense is now moved away from the goal line up near midfield.
They gave him a different look, put a receiver in the backfield. Kermit Whitfield, by the way, with all the injuries in the backfield, guys haven't been practicing a lot. You know who's been getting a lot of reps? Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday? Kermit Whitfield, a guy who knows how to play running back, but is more of a slot receiver. You can see the acceleration. They went tempo, just handed it, pitched it to him, and he just got to the corner because of that speed.
They flip it short and knocked down immediately is the fullback Stevenson, just a yard gain.
So they've had 3 first downs on this drive. This drive started inside their own 15 at the 13-yard line, and they have thrown the football. Here they go again with that hurry up, tempo, 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 trying to hurry up, get the tight end lined up.
Cook draws a crowd that breaks free. Cook across midfield. Didn't look like much, but then he shows that burst.
Interesting that Jimbo Fisher has found something here with the personnel on the field, and they're getting the look that they want. They're sealing the edge with the tight ends block Izzo, and then he's just kind of waiting for that crease to find itself, and then boom, right there he cuts behind the linebacker Boulware. I thought the ball almost came out, but he holds on to it.
Jaquez Patrick, the true freshman, spelling Cook. McGuire, miscommunication there. How about this offensive line, though, that had been so rattled, has had to report it. You come out and you say, let's run tempo. Let's let these guys, don't give them a lot of time to think.
I love it. You notice how the ball is no longer having an issue anymore with Eberle and his snaps. I mean, the ball is being snapped quickly. You're becoming the aggressor again as an offense instead of just sitting back there. Crowds getting into it. The play clock's down to 5, 4, 3. Guys are either a false start or a delay of the game. There's just no rhythm. Here, they've found a rhythm here.
Second and 10, ball batted in the air and falls to the turf. Austin Bryant, yet another talented true freshman defensive lineman in this game, got his hand up.
Chris, the offensive line turns the wrong way. They're turning down. The linebacker ends up coming, so you've got 2 guys that rush, and the right tackle this time, Rubel, is left alone to block 2 guys. They've confused them with their look and their protection. They slid to the left. They should have slid to the right, and there's the athletic ability by the freshman Bryant going up in the air to knock it down.
3rd and 10. McGuire hammered as he throws it. Ben Boulware, they're signaling a fumble. This will for sure be reviewed. Boulware came flying in and hammered McGuire. Scrum for the ball now. Got to sort out who's got it.
Wait, the fans are excited because the signal has been Clemson football, but they're definitely going to take a look at it.
McGuire indicating that he thought his arm was going forward. Dave Kataya is our rules expert. Joe Ryder is the replay official here.
Steps up. There's Boulware right there. If his hand is moving forward at all, it's considered an incompletion. To me, it looks like his hand's moving forward.
That's a pass.
Yeah, it looks like he's attempting a pass.
Dave, is that how you'd see it if you were Joe Ryder in the replay booth?
Take a look at this. What Kirk and you guys are saying is right. Does he have control of that ball when the arm is moving forward? To me, he does. Does he have control as the arm is moving forward?
Lawson.
Yeah.
To me, he has.
Yeah, I mean, Boulware makes contact, but the ball is still in possession. And as his arm is coming forward, the ball is still in possession, meaning he has possession of the ball, and then it comes forward, then the ball comes out. So it looks like an incompletion to me.
The arm moves forward about 6 inches, but at the same time in the contact, but the contact is not relevant.
Dave, don't you think the officials do the right thing to rule it a fumble? Then you can go back and fix it if it is an incompletion, rather than ruling complete, which could take a fumble recovery perhaps out of the play. I think this is, right. I would err on the side of calling it this way and then fixing it.
Right.
Great point, Chris. Absolutely.
It's fun broadcasting here at Clemson. It's like we're here amongst the crowd. They're turning, looking to us at what's the call. I'm saying incompletion. You're saying
they don't like that call.
No, they don't like the call. They're our friends. If we said fumble, then they would.
Why don't you pick up one of these monitors and turn it around and put it out so they could see the replay what the booth is looking at. In any case, Boulware made a big play, and even if it is ruled incomplete, it's going to be 4th down and 10 at the 49-yard line.
Did you see where Boulware came from there, Chris? It was interesting. He wasn't coming. He was locked on with Dalvin Cook in case Dalvin Cook was going to go out for a pass. And when Dalvin Cook did not go out for a pass, he decided, you know what, I'm just going to take it. I'm going to go in there. He's right here. He's matched up with Dalvin Cook. Watch Dalvin Cook. He stays in. He's going to try to help out. Now he says, okay, then I'm coming. Boom. Lowers the boom right there. But he was not blitzing initially.
After review, the quarterback was in possession of the ball when his arm was going forward. Incomplete pass. 4th down. Please reset the game clock to 12 minutes and 6 seconds. 12 minutes, 6 seconds.
McGuire is pretty confident that would be overturned.
Yeah.
Dave, thanks for your help. I think the correct call. In any case, it was, as you pointed out, a heads-up play by Boulware, and now we'll have a punt.
And as we get into this 4th quarter and a 13-13 game with so much on the line for both teams, really, field position is huge. And Florida State, by being more aggressive offensively, this drive started their own 13. They get it close to midfield, and without the fumble there, now they have a chance to pin Clemson back deep in their own territory.
Boulware comes from Anderson. It's just up the road, and they had a huge high school game here last night. It was about 10,000 people. His alma mater, Hannah, lost to Westside in overtime, which is a crusher. Yeah, that's Westside #1 in the state down here.
10,000 people. They love high school football in South Carolina.
And you got 2 very strong teams right in this area, just up the road from campus. So here's Beatty again dropping the tip. It's that sand wedge, tries to knock it close to the pin and does it very well.
That's outstanding.
Excellent execution. Tigers back on offense. 11:59 to play. Tie game.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, presented by Kay Jewelers, who would like to remind you that right now it's engagement season. Pacific Life. For life insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed. And Cadillac.
On ESPN tonight, unbeaten Spartans with a 3 unbeaten to the Big Ten travel to Lincoln, 7 Eastern, presented by Hilton Hotels. Iowa also unbeaten, now an 8-point lead on the road at Indiana. ABC, of course, will have the Buckeyes and the Gophers tonight from Columbus. Tigers are backed up once again at their 8-yard line. Gallman muscles forward. This has been one of those old-fashioned field position games, and it seems like both offenses have so often been backed up at the beginning of drives.
You're right about that, and as this game goes on, whoever's going to emerge as a winner, you wonder if anybody's going to be able to take poor field position and do something with it. Are they going to have the benefit of getting great field position?
Here's the catch made. Hopper slips free. 1st down. They improved their field position to the 25. Terrence Smith grabbed him.
You know, the linebackers are playing so deep, and by running Gallman here these last few possessions, it does open up those inside receiver routes.
There's another 1st down run. Hard collision there. Reggie Northrup, the linebacker. You could hear the pads pop.
Yeah, they are rotating quite a few guys. Now that Terrence Smith is healthy, Reggie Northrup is out there. We saw Hoskins playing some. Jacob Pugh obviously playing. Northrup, the leader, he had a great quote this week saying he's almost like a proud father watching some of these young players emerge.
Watson, patience in the pocket, now gets free, darts up the middle and slides to safety again, out near the 40. Another 1st down, another great scramble.
Remember the play earlier where they tried to get the ball right here to leg it. This time it's taken away by the linebacker, and that's exactly where he's looking. When it's taken away, again, you always have to take into consideration. Great job covering the receivers, but who's got number 4 if things break down?
I mean, that is no fun being a DB in the open field. That time it was Elliott with a kind of a helpless feeling.
Right.
Brooks runs out there late. The tailback to the left of Watson. They fake it to him. And a late throw. They draw the defense up and they flip it to Scott, who gets near midfield. Another first down, and increasingly popular play we're seeing.
Reggie Northrup and DeMarcus Walker out there on the edge of the defense. 44 comes off of Scott. Northrup's there. There's nobody left to the outside. He kind of baited both of them, and then a little bit of another jump pass, fadeaway pass to Scott.
Is that more Sandlot than scheme, you think?
I think, yeah, that's a little bit of improvising.
Watson throws it low, completion. That was Leggett, who is getting involved tonight. The tight end down inside the 35.
They took their receiver Peak and cleared him to the left of the receiver, or to the quarterback, and that opened such a huge vacancy in man-to-man. Peak running away from the freshman James in man coverage.
Pump fake from Watson. Thought about taking a shot downfield. Now just threads it on the sideline, and that's a catch by Leggett. What a drive for this quarterback.
How calm is he with the game on the line? Things are moving around fast. They're throwing the ball fast. They're getting it out. He's showing great patience in that pocket, not panicking. Even though the game's moving fast around him, it's not moving fast in his mind.
They flip it on the end around. It's a little pop pass, but Scott just know where to run. Reggie Northrup and company sniffed that out. It's a big loss.
And a great play by Elliott, 14, who actually was the key there. He did not allow Scott, who wanted to get outside of him. That jet sweep, you want to get wide. Look at 14 doing a great job. Once he makes him cut back into the inside, that play is over.
What a story Elliott is. His dad sent tape out to colleges. Nobody recruited this guy. Watson knocked down, and here is Javian Elliott, walk on, didn't play football for 3 years, went to a junior college, didn't play football. He's out here in a huge game making plays. Think about that if you don't have a lot of scholarship offers and you're a high school player.
Yeah, good for him. Love to see guys with that kind of perseverance, and you can see he's at up to 5'11", 176. You can imagine what he was like coming out of high school. He's worked his way into a position to be able, with the injuries they've had in that back end, he's out there playing and helping.
They're in field goal range. They don't take a further loss. 3rd and 14. Watson flips it short. Not going to be a first down as he's knocked down at the the 20 or 17-yard line by Smith. So that loss on the end around on first down kind of killed what had been a very sharp drive. Now they're going to have a field goal attempt.
Well, they went 10 plays in 75 yards in under 4 minutes. I mean, Deshaun Watson was in control, moving them right down the field. But you're right, they went with that jet sweep and got them negative yards, put them behind the chains, and made it easier for Florida State to crank up the pressure on 2nd and 3rd down.
Hugo 2 for 2. This from 34 for the lead. High snap. Good job by the holders. Seth Ryan to bring it down. And the reliable Hugo puts the Tigers, #1 team in the country, back on top by 3. Monday Night Football. Bears and the Chargers beginning with Monday Night Countdown at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. And 8:15 kick on ESPN.
Get those Fowler push-ups going. Where's the extension?
He usually does a lot more work than today. Not many push-ups for the Tiger.
It's an off night for him.
It was a short kick by Enleka to the 7-yard line. Whitfield. Can he get the edge? Yes. Kermit Whitfield. Still running midfield and finally wrestled out. And the man who made the huge return, the biggest kick return in school history in the BCS championship game, has set the Noles up in plus territory. A Pacific Life game summary all about the 2 number 4s. Early on, of course, it was Cook, a 75-yarder in the second play, had a $128 in the first quarter.
Yeah, and since then, it's been a little bit tougher for him. This was early in the game where he was getting a lot of room to work, and since then they've shut him down, and Deshaun Watson has settled into the game and been in better position to be able to make plays. That was a go-ahead touchdown to Deion Kane. But Chris, you're right, a big return by Whitfield. They start this drive in plus territory.
There's a 44-yard return. It continues to be a serious problem for Clemson, covering kickoffs. Among the worst in the country at that. So McGuire Throws downfield. Wilson, a little shove as the ball came down, but it's overthrown. 2 Tigers bracketing him.
Good job by Clemson. 1st and 10. Again, throwing the football by Jimbo Fisher. And it's a nice job by Clemson being awake and anticipating that. Not necessarily being baited that time and thinking Dalvin Cook. Remember the last couple series we've seen Florida State willing to be more aggressive on early downs.
Second and 10. Wilson collects it, gets to the 40 before T.J. Green stopped him. It'll be 3rd down and a little bit less than 2.
You get late in a game like this, so much at stake. They're going with that hurry up, that toss sweep.
Look out.
They're going to the right.
Tigers not even lined up, and Cook's got it. But he doesn't get 1st down yardage. He's knocked down about a foot short over there, just inside the 40. It'll be 4th down.
You know it, I know it, and Clemson knows it. I mean, this is what they've done here is when Jimbo Fisher's gone hurry up, they run to the tight end side. Clemson's defense, even though they weren't in position, you can see them still trying to get in position, but they noticed it. They just needed to know where the tight end is, and then just start running in that direction.
The Fisher wants to know just exactly how much they need on this 4th down. And it's been anything but automatic on these 3rd and 4th and shorts. Or either offense. He needs almost a full yard, Kirk. You actually get up under center, high formation, and try to power the ball here?
You have to, or you go wide with Dalvin Cook. The interior is not a good matchup for Florida State in short yardage situations. I think you've got to go wide and trust Dalvin Cook to be able to get wide on that outside stretch play and then find a crease and then find it in a hurry. I think into the teeth, you're only going quarterback sneak, or you go wide with Dalvin Cook. I would not go I formation, go deep in the backfield, up the middle, and hand it off to Dalvin Cook. Because the line of scrimmage may be going backwards. I'd go wide with him.
We'll see what they decide. Cook is lined up 7 yards deep. He's got it. But he doesn't get the 1st down. Boulware came flying up, and just like the Notre Dame game down at the goal line, it's that Clemson front has made a huge play.
I think they were probably anticipating what you and I were talking about. Boulware cleaned it up, but you know who made the play? Shaq Lawson. Watch him right here. He's fighting off, makes the great play right there. He gets off of his block, forces Cook not only back inside, Chris, but he does a good job of getting his hands on him to slow him down. He actually made the tackle before Boulware got there.
Clemson football. A 3rd and 1 and a 4th and 1 stop for Boulware and this Tiger defense. Clemson back on offense, protecting a 3-point lead.
So
last year's dramatic collision in Tallahassee. You recall Jameis Winston, even though he warmed up, suspended for the game. Deshaun Watson comes in as emergency player in the 2nd half. Gives Clemson the lead. They felt like they outplayed the Noles, but in overtime, Williams with the walk-off winner has gutted a locker room as Sweeney says he's ever been around. The 3rd consecutive loss to Florida State, and now Clemson.
I don't think that's not on the mind of these Clemson players all week this week.
There's a 1st down carry by Gallman. Gains about 5. Again, only one player. Jerome Peak, who's a veteran, has been a part of a victory over Florida State. Clemson clinches the division, clinches their spot in the ACC championship game, and dethrones Florida State with a victory here, as well as, of course, staying on course for the playoff.
Are their rankings out?
I heard they came out.
Dabo, we're not going to have a big pizza party here, right? Till early December if they're still in the #1 spot.
Gallman just slams into a wall and gets knocked backwards. Terrence Smith flew up to support Walker.
He sure did, but Niall Lawrence Stample, he and Derek Nottie, DeMarcus Christmas, this time right here, watch the big fella take on that double team. Look at that work. just pushes him back, and that's impressive. That's why you lift weights right there.
You don't skip leg day. Well, instead of working the play clock, let's see if they do, Kirk. It's 3rd and 6. They could punt and pin them back.
And here's his guy that he loves to get the ball to in these kind of situations. Leggett, the tight end, who's flexed out.
He's made 6 catches tonight. Play clock down at 3. Watson, pump fake, throws into traffic, and it's Peak off and running. First down and much more down to the 35. Crucial conversion for Clemson.
How about him, Chris? You talked about the pump fake. He barely held. Watch the quarterback here. And then he holds on to it. He was actually waiting for Peak to get clear.
You know, Kirk, so many of those screens have been ineffective tonight.
Yeah, the timing there was not great. He got pressure from DeMarcus Walker.
He got 21 yards on that 3rd and 6, and Peak, the veteran of that receiving corps, makes a huge play, and now the clock becomes a bigger factor.
And Walker went up into the air, and if he would have thrown it the first time, he would have hit him right in the chest. So he held on to it, waited, and then made the right decision.
This time he holds on and darts forward. That's an effective 6-yard first down gain.
And if you're Florida State right now, it's about you've got to hold Deshaun Watson and Clemson to a field goal and see what you can do with one last possession. You've got 3 timeouts. It's under 4 minutes to go. Obviously, you can't let Clemson into the end zone. They get in the end zone for most part, this football game is over. And if you're Clemson, you're thinking knockout punch. Somebody make a play, get the ball into the end zone. Let's beat this Florida State team.
McGuire hoping to get a chance with this still a 1-score game. They hand it back to Brooks. Breaks a couple tackles and then just gets leveled there.
Yeah, that's but DeMarcus Walker, the junior, with Mario Edwards moving on, Eddie Goldman moving on. This defensive line kind of, and all year, played with a chip on their shoulder. Nobody more than DeMarcus Walker. He cleaned that play up. It's a timeout, Florida State.
I will forever bleed garnet and gold.
By Deshaun Watson. After a little bit of a shaky start, couple overthrows, he spiked the ball on 3rd down at the end of the half. He's been in command, though, in the second half.
Yeah, look at his numbers. I mean, they don't have as many points as you're used to seeing, but what doesn't show up is how he's able to keep his poise and make good plays. They go with that double stack look again with their receivers to the left and to the right.
Not really in Hugo's field goal range at this point. They flip it back, a screen again. Peak gets a first down. And now it becomes important that Florida State spent a timeout before 3rd and 7.
Gallman goes in motion out of the backfield. This is the touchdown play for Deion Kane. By going here, he takes Terrence Smith with him. There's nobody left in this area over here. So they get it, Terrence Smith out of the way. Little fake to the right, come back to the left. They blitz Jalen Ramsey. That's the play that Deion Kane took to the house. They were lucky to even come up with a stop there because they were outnumbered big time to the left.
And Kirk, you said in the break, they put a lot of eggs in that basket trying to make that stop on 3rd down. Now the Noles just 2 more timeouts inside of 3 minutes to go. Gallman, a quick burst, breaks a tackle, and scores! Clemson got hit with a right cross 45 seconds into this game. The rowdy crowd got quiet, but they have climbed back. And now, with that 25-yard touchdown run from Wayne Gallman, Clemson is up 10 with 2:34 to go.
Interesting here that your best linebacker as far as tackling, Reggie Northrup, watch him work his way out here before the play even occurs. He's your most physical player. Where's he going? Terrence Smith misses the tackle. It would have been right where Reggie Northrup was, and that's a tough ask from LaMarcus Brutus once Gallman's running into that 2nd and 3rd level. But I'm shocked by Reggie Northrup walking out to the field. You know they're going to run the football. They're working clock. You need to be attacking the line of scrimmage with your linebackers. Instead, he's walking out, and it just so happened to be it's exactly where Clemson was running with the football. And boy, Wayne Gallman looks like a guy that's been cooped up all night, and he finally got loose, and he just said, "You're not stopping me from getting to that end zone."
Exactly, Kirk. He's had to earn every yard tonight. He's got 87, but that touchdown run, perhaps a play they'll remember around these parts for a long time. Death Valley is jumping, literally. To be the champs, you got to beat the champs. And that's been the Seminoles in this division, in this conference for the last 3 years. Clemson certainly felt they were the better football team. If you believe them, the far better team coming in this year. And now they're up by 10. The job not done, though. This time, Whitfield is knocked down at the 20. Here's the All-State good hands play.
It's a great play. Watch Shaq Lawson here. Not only does he make the play, Chris, but watch how he spins him and prevents the ball from getting across the line. How fitting that Shaq Lawson, the leader of that defense, makes that play on 4th down, and he's got the bum shoulder.
He's feeling no pain right now, isn't he? Had the reporting that he's been fighting through it all night. Adrenaline is a great painkiller. Now McGuire must look deep. Serious urgency. Pressured. Hit. Almost intercepted. Reaching back and trying to make the catch there was T.J. Green, who missed the tackle early on.
Yeah. Almost had a chance to really put the bow on this. Kevin Dodd almost got to Sean McGuire. Clemson that time only rushing 3, dropping 8. Trying to make it tough on Sean McGuire. They're not just going to lock up and play man-to-man.
Quick completion. And off and running is Rudolph, who lost the ball. Goodson's got it. He just took it away from him at the end of the play.
Well, there were 2 or 3 defenders. I think Boulware got his hands actually on it and knocked the ball loose as Rudolph was going down. His knee is actually off the ground, and Boulware, watch 3 defenders. Green's in there, Goodson's in there. Here comes to the left. Boulware gets his hand in there, and watch him rip at that football well before he's down. That ball is out. Free ball, and Goodson jumps on top of it.
So the linebackers, so important in tonight's efforts, combining the strip
right there
and the recovery.
You do that every day in practice, a strip drill. As an offensive player, you work on trying to take care of it. And as a defensive player, you try to rip it out. And I'll tell you, Boulware in this defense in the second half against Florida State, 3 points.
Here's the crowd when they see that the ball is out.
That's great. That is great.
Would you call that gang tackling by Clemson?
Yeah.
4 guys.
Oh, yeah.
On Rudolph. And now just trying to bleed the clock. And Gallman, he wants to get to 100 yards. He's being carried and lifted.
Oh!
He was just being carried by the linemen. They get 11 yards there. In this Clemson defense, you can't be any more rocked than they were a minute into this game. Has really responded
but see,
since then.
I think they grew up more in one game tonight defensively than the previous 8 weeks because of the body blow that they took on that touchdown of 75 yards early in this game from Dalvin Cook. Could have almost had an uh-oh feeling for Dabo Swinney and Brent Venables, but instead they kind of stuck to their plan. They made some adjustments. They made it tough on Dalvin Cook from the second half on. They had a lot to do with this victory, obviously, for Clemson.
At Syracuse, and then home against Wake, knowing they've already clinched the division now with this victory, but obviously thinking about the playoff. They have the rivalry game against the Gamecocks in Columbia, and they will now play in Charlotte in the ACC championship game. Could be against the Tar Heels, who are rolling right now.
There are two games that would concern me if I were Clemson. Games you have to be worried about. Anytime you go into a rivalry game where one team has nothing to lose and they're having a terrible year and you have everything to lose, that would be a game where on the road you want to make sure everything's buttoned up. And South Carolina, by the way, since Steve Spurrier left, they have not given up on things for Sean Elliott. And right now, who's playing better than North Carolina? So it's not as if they just, after this victory, they're going to walk their way to a championship opportunity in the Final Four. They still have, they're going to be favored, but they still have a lot of work to do with the remainder of their schedule.
Bring him right back down to earth, Kirk. Good coaching. They'll be heavily favored in those games. Heavily favored.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people felt if they beat Florida State, it's over. They're in. I just say there's still some work to do.
No doubt. This is still college football. Gallman, by the way, Kirk, with a touchdown run on that assisted 10-yard gain, has reached the 100-yard mark for the 6th time this season. Here's Dabo Swinney. Just another game, right, Coach? I don't think so. Not from the start when he sprinted down the hill and across the field. He's been very animated after that latest turnover. He knows they got it. They finally got the Noles for the first time in 4 years.
This team just has a different feel. They've had some great teams here in the last 3 years. This team is a different feel with Deshaun Watson leading them on the offensive side. Ability to run and throw, maintain the poise, and on the defensive side as well. You got a lot of new faces out there that have come up big.
Wonder about Sean McGuire given the start here, even though Golson was healthy. His first road start trying to gather his linemen, but it was not successful, and you wonder where Fisher will be going forward. Will he have something else to think about with Golson and McGuire? The second loss of the season will really kill the dreams of this very young team. They got a big future, but they will not accomplish what they set out to this year. Watson, a very safe play, has some blockers and runs it down inside the 25, and that'll be the first down that'll clinch it for Clemson.
Two things he's thinking about on that turn after that fake. Get the first down and stay in bounds, and that'll do it.
Now, this is a team that won a national championship in '81, but they took over #1 after beating South Carolina, and they were the only team with a perfect record in '81, but they never played a home game as a #1 team. Never run down that hill as a #1 team. And Swinney knew about the perils of that, and he's just letting it loose. There's going to be a dance party in the locker room.
I was going to say, before the dance party, is Heather ready? Does Heather got her helmet? Give her a helmet. She better be ready.
We saw how emotional he was after the Notre Dame victory. 107 rushing yards for Watson. What a monster second half for the quarterback after a subpar first half. Clemson, here in Death Valley tonight, dethrones the Seminoles in the division and stays on course for the college football playoff. Win the whole thing, said Fisher. He knows that Clemson's the only conference team that is best positioned to do that.
Yep. And he knows what it takes to win that whole thing.
Oh, there's going to be a party in Clemson tonight. There already is one here in the field. We wish Heather Cox our best as we throw it down to her with Dabo Swinney.
Things happen when I see you. I know, exactly. Congratulations, Coach. How did you get this team with all the expectations, all the talk about the rankings, all the pressures? How'd you get them to get it done tonight?
We just do what we do. First of all, hey, give credit to Florida State. They've been a great champion in this league. They've represented this league. But tonight, it was our time, and we're division champs. I love it. I'm really proud of our team. It was a hard-fought game. This is what championship football is all about, baby. You got to win in the fourth quarter, and our guys just made the plays when we make them, and it's great to be a Tiger. anything to me. They were who I know they are. Focused, tough, they love each other, they're passionate. And man, I'm just telling you, they didn't prove one thing. They were exactly who I know they are, and they found a way to win. And I'm just really proud of them, hey. Because Florida State, we got great respect for them. They're a great football team. But tonight was our night.
It is good to be a Tiger. Have you been working on any dance moves for the locker room?
Oh, we'll be dancing tonight, I promise you.
Break it down. Thanks, Coach.
Look at that happy coach in that sea of orange. That lens got all fogged up in there.
That's a pretty cool
shot. A lot of emotion. You said it well, Kirk. A lot of emotion, a lot of frustration, close calls, some embarrassments, all bursting forth at the end of this game as Clemson, a very strong Saban after allowing the opening touchdown, held the Knowles offense to 2 field goals.
They got challenged early, and they answered the call. They really, I think, again, they did more in this game than anything we've seen all year of going up. And Florida State is still an athletic, talented team, and they took it away from them. They took the crown away from them. And before they achieved their ultimate goals, they had to accomplish this tonight.
And they did it with 302 yards offense after intermission. Clemson has won the division, but a lot more work to do to reach what they hope will be their ultimate goal. The selection committee's #1 team played like it in the second half, and they dethroned the 3-time reigning ACC champions from Florida State with a 17-3 edge in the second half. What a scene here in Clemson, a ball game. This quarterback, his team, Tony Elliott, these coaches will never forget. On ABC tonight, it's the unbeaten Buckeyes hosting the Gophers on Saturday Night Football, presented by Walmart. Today's game produced by Bill Bonnell, directed by Derek Mobley. For Kirk Herbstreit, Heather Cox, and our entire team here at Clemson, Chris Fowler saying so long for now, where the Tigers have won their division.